is the formulation we were talking about. और हमारे साथ थे जी कहाँ कलकत्ता से पीयूष जी. He is the physician to the governor of West Bengal. And in the end, the last part of the discussion, we touched on some rasaushadhi he is using in Bengal and how it is controlling hyperlipidemia. And we touched on, casually in that discussion, we said, you know, the total value for statins globally is about $20 billion and growing, approximately $20 billion. अब हमारे पास है औषधियाँ that can give you equally potent outcomes, but we have not studied them closely. Professor C.B. Jha is here with us today. He's also listening to us. But this is to do with rasaushadhis. Rasaushadhis, as far as my understanding is, it doesn't come within the remit of Ayush premium mark. So rasaushadhis sit outside that. I could be wrong, but that is my understanding. That anything to do with rasaushadhis is outside the context of Ayush mark and Ayush premium mark. If I'm wrong, please correct me as we go into our discussions. But the non-research preparations also have equal value, equally important global value. Now, nobody else in the world understands the quality parameters for Ayurvedic formulations. So only India can set the standards. So that is one point. Number two, when we look at old texts like Vaishaj Ratnavali, they never tell you deep details of the preparation. It is mentioned, but not in the greatest detail. Now that puts another stumbling block. It may be something that can be refined, but it's a bit of a problem for when we talk to global customers. Everybody seems to have a slightly different preparation. Chyawanprash from somebody is different from Chyawanprash from somebody, etc. Chyawanprash being the best example. So what we have are a collection of issues like this, and it gives a little bit of haziness to that whole area of formulations. And there is no uniformity. And we are not able to explain those differences to people who are potential buyers. So Professor Jha, after that meeting, we had a lengthy discussion, and he was saying, you know, if we go into the area of rasa preparations and we talk about bhasmas and all these things, then they are the large manufacturers of these bulk bhasmas are traditional Ved families. And they have understood these procedures. So even if there is a variation in the way they make it, it is because of a deep understanding of that science. You know, they understood the science. But when we come to simple preparations like asavamaristams or quats or any of those gutikas or whatever, there is still some confusion. So let us see how you people can convince all our viewers that you understand these challenges, you are working on it, you are trying to refine the standards, incremental improvement of standards is going on. And these are all the key phrases that we might want to think about. So I leave the platform to Naveen-ji. Thank you once again, Naveen-ji. Bahut bahut dhanyawad. You have brought so many people to the platform today for a very, very important topic that we have discussed here in our previous webinars also. We have touched on this idea. And so to have so many experts here is a privilege. And I want to thank everybody here. And please, let us continue with our discussion. Naveen-ji, thank you very much for.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much.
Now, Pawan-ji will tell us what the language should be, whether we ever want to discuss in English, Pawan-ji, या हिंदी में करें. अगर दोनों mix करके करना हो वो भी ठीक है, क्योंकि I think everybody attending here understand both the languages. But if there are if there are key points, if you also repeat in English a little bit, then people from other parts of the world will also understand this a little. So I leave it to you to decide which way you want to do this.
Everybody has presentation in English. So if they can guide us on mixed language, that will also be great.
Useful. Thank you, Ji. Thank you, Naveen Ji. Bahut dhanyawad. Thank you for bringing so many wonderful people to our platform. And in previous, just as a background and last comment, in our discussions, Anil Johri Ji has been here with us, and he is a good mentor for us, and he is guiding us in many of our discussions and dialogues. So we are aware of some of the quality control, QCI, and some of those standards that are being developed. And we just want to learn more. So there we are. Thank you, Naveen Ji. Bahut dhanyawad.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. एक बार सर ब्रीफ इंट्रोड्यूस करूं मैं सभी को, स्पीकर्स को।
हाँ जी, शुरू में जैसे सीक्वेंस से नाम है जिन जिन के, उनको अपन एक बार इनवाइट कर लें, है ना?
यस।
सबसे पहले अरुण श्रीवास्तव जी हैं, जो
नवीन जी, also आप just a little bit about yourself and also your the IR Class System Solutions Private Limited, or आपकी just a little bit about yourself so that our audience know.
Yes, thank you. This is Dr. Naveen Kumar Garg. I am an M.Pharma PhD and in pharmaceutical science. I have total 10 to 12 year experience in manufacturing and quality control of herbal drugs. I have experienced in academic, industries, institutions, and research and manufacturing quality controls of different sectors of Ayush drug industries. And I have written the book on quality control of herbal drugs, and as well I have granted the patent from Government of India for anti-hypertensive formulation. And a lot of research paper I have published in different national and international journals. Thank you so much. This is my brief introduction.
Thank you.
Kindly introduce Mr. Arun Kumar Srivastav. Naveen ji.
Yes, Arun Kumar Srivastav ji. Your video, your photography is not visual.
Arun ji, namaskar.
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar, sir. Namaskar. Mr. Arun Srivastav.
President Padma, Managing Director, J. Amardev Remedies and Healthcare Private Limited, Kanpur. Welcome, Arun.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir, I am requesting to Arun Srivastav ji, can you brief introduce yourself about the education and experience and exposures to oddities, to invitees?
Thank you, Naveen, sir. Thank you very much. A very warm good evening to all the dignitaries present over there. I am privileged enough to be a part of this August webinar, where all the manufacturers and so many experts are there. And as far as my introduction is concerned, I'm a manufacturer basically, and the firm's name is J. Amardev Remedies. We have been into manufacturing since 1999, and we opted for Ayush Premium Mark in 2017. So from there on, a new story started in quality and all. And before that, I would like to say that I'm also chairing this Pharmaceutical and Ayurvedic Drug Manufacturers Association based in UP. And there are quite a lot of members all over UP. And before going into the main topic, I would like to just put in some point which I could get it from Dr. Madan Tangavelu. His brief start on Ayush premium was quite interesting. And one thing, sir, I wanted to say you that, and Dr. Pawan also mentioned that since the start of Ayush premium and standard, industry has given a very lukewarm response to these standards. So before going into other things and what my experience is with Ayush premium, I would like to just say that industry manufacturers are basically, they belong to MSME sector. 90% of our Ayurvedic medicine and Ayush manufacturers belong to the MSME sector, and I think more than 90%. And those people are, they just think that if this step is taken, what we are going to get in return, how it is going to help us in our sale. So they look into the immediate sale, and for the immediate sale, the government should, make it mandatory for all the states for their procurement, state procurement, which the government has not yet made. So the immediate sale, which they can get it through government procurements, that is not being seen by them. And if you talk about the private market, the doctors, the Vaidyas, they even don't know about Ayush premium and Ayush standard, because there is no awareness program among the doctors. So the companies feel that they are left in the lurch to adopt these kind of schemes, and also go ahead with making the awareness programs also to the doctors. And since the doctors do not know about these things, they do not take it very well in the sense that they don't know that if it is equivalent to WHO, GMP, how it works, because they are not being trained, they are not being aware, they are not aware about these kind of schemes through government channels. So these are big hurdles. So that is the reason industry is not so forthcoming for this kind of standard schemes. And one thing more, that yes, now the government has started giving subsidy on updation and all. MSME department had already this updation scheme, but now Ayush is also has come along with this kind of subsidy and all. But still, our manufacturers are not aware of those schemes. Since I, as a chairperson of your association, even I am not aware. I do not get these kind of emails, whereas my email is registered for all purposes in the Ayush Ministry of Ayush. Even we people are not aware. We get these kind of emails from other known sources, but Ayush has not aggressively, forwarded these kind of schemes to all the associations and all. So people are not aware that what kind of subsidy also they can get it. So these are basic reasons why there is a lukewarm response to these kind of schemes. So once again, coming back to my experience on Ayush premium, our firm adopted this on in the year 2017, and I can very well, classify the journey of our firm pre-2017 as pre-2017 and post-2017. That is pre-Ayush GMP, Ayush premium, and post-Ayush premium. Because that kind of classification, we have already told to our, we discuss it out with our customers as well as our team members, our employees, everybody, that we have two parts: a pre-Ayush premium history and a post-Ayush premium history. This classification I have made it because there is a huge lot of change once we came acquainted ourselves with this kind of scheme, and when we adopted this. Throughout the process, as we people knew about quality, we were trying our level best to put in best of quality. But once we got into this kind of documentation and all, then we saw that we were far behind all those things. And now, adopting to all those things, there is a sea change in our working culture, in our quality culture, and in the process, Yes, we tried to make aware the doctors and all. We were consistent, and our sales team was consistent on this, and we tried to explain. We had some meetings also with those people, and after that, they too also accepted. Yes, the quality was well good enough earlier too, but now they understand that what kind of quality we people are producing, and they are also supporting in a good way. So for us, for our firm, it's a pre-Ayush premium history as well as a post-Ayush premium history. So this is all we can say. I can say about the best, the thing which we have felt about this Ayush premium. But yes, as Dr. Madan Thangavelu said, that Ras Shastra is out of the preview of Ayush premium. One thing, sir, I wanted to say you that since all these parameters are built and they are almost in the start, copy pasted from the modern medicine thing. So the Ras Shastra and all, since these people are not aware, so they haven't come out with a specific parameter for this. But somehow at the back of my mind, I feel strongly enough that our science, that Ayush science, Ayurveda science, is being, distorted. If we go back to our books, we will find enough science how these things were made and how quality was maintained. We people are in a hurry to come out with all these kind of parameters, just to come out with export figures so that Ayush industry can have a large share in the world market. We are into a hurry. We are almost hurrying it up, and in the process, we will definitely lose the science of Ayurveda, because, sir, in the process of my journey, I started an informal study of this Ayurvedic science, and there are so many learned persons over there. I can't just talk more about that science, but I'll just let my mind speak whatever I have gained. Sir, this science is altogether very different from modern science, and I can say that these are two parallel sciences, and what we are doing is we are trying to merge one science into other, and we are trying to compare those things. We want to translate each and everything to this kind of science. I'm not against science. I'm fully with modern science. I've been a assistant professor in physics in Dehradun. I have led that job, and then I joined this business. What I'm saying is these two streams are quite different and they can't meet. And what we people are doing is we're trying to make it meet forcibly. And if you're trying to do this, we will lose the basic character of Ayurveda. For example, let me tell you, there are so many research papers, you can find it out, that how Ashwagandha or Tulsi works as an antibiotic. Now, this is a term which modern science knows very well. And what we are doing is we are trying to sell Tulsi as an antibiotic. So Tulsi as an antibiotic cannot be said that it's working on Ayurveda principle. What we are trying to say is that Tulsi is also a better antibiotic, and we are trying to provide an alternate to chemical medicine which are made through chemicals. We're just trying to provide an alternate to that. This is not Ayurveda. Ayurveda is something different. If you're trying to provide a herbal alternate to Ayurvedic, modern medicine, that thing is different. But if you're trying to provide Ayurveda as a disease, therapy for diseases, it is altogether a different science. That's my small moot point, which can be taken up by the experts if they feel that I'm right. So this was my moot point. And regarding Ayush premium, I would like to suggest to all the manufacturers present over there, please go ahead with these kind of things. This will help you a lot. Initially, you may feel that it's a burden on your economy, But let me tell you very frankly, in the long run, this is going to help you out a lot. For example, now we can pinpoint this accountability system. Earlier, पहले क्या होता था कि अगर कोई चीज गड़बड़ हुई तो accountability का एक मिसिंग पार्ट होता था. एक टीम तो मालूम होती थी कि इसके ऊपर इस टीम पे अकाउंटेबिलिटी है, but we couldn't pinpoint the person. After going through these kind of documentation and all, you can pinpoint कि यहाँ पर fault थी. तो ये एक प्लस पॉइंट है आयुष प्रीमियम का कि अगर आप क्वालिटी में जा रहे हैं, आयुष प्रीमियम में आयुष स्टैंडर्ड में जा रहे हैं, तो जो डॉक्यूमेंटेशन है वो आपको हर स्टेप पे बता सकता है कि कहाँ पे गलती हुई है और कैसे आप उसको सुधार सकते हैं. तो इन द लॉन्ग रन all the manufacturers are going to be benefited by this. I would request all the manufacturers to please come ahead and adopt this scheme. और आपको सब्सिडी वगैरह भी दे रही है, जो मेरे ख्याल से नवीन सर और डॉक्टर संजय सर ज्यादा बेहतर बता पाएंगे कि क्या है वो स्कीम्स वगैरह और क्या प्रोसेस है इसका. लेकिन मेरे हिसाब से all the manufacturers should go. I think I have taken enough time, sir. I would like to stop myself. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Arunji, thank you very much. You have touched on certain points here which are important for our as the conference proceeds. These things that you've mentioned are very important. I can see Parulji, our senior aide from Gandhinagar, she has responded to that one comment that you made about Tulsi and how Tulsi is being used in the perspectives are very different. The epistemologies are different. The way we approach the body in health and disease is different. And I think we have to respect that. And where we don't know about it, I guess we have to learn about these things. Now I can see hand raise here from Ayurvedant Private Limited. Pavanji, are we taking questions now or do we leave questions for the end? Pavanji, namaskar. Our protocol, I don't know who's coming to us from Ayurvedant. Our protocol is Ayurvedant ji, namaskar. Our protocol is that we take our questions at the very end. If it is a pressing question, please do raise your question now. We are happy to take this. Otherwise, we wait for the questions. Please put your question in the chat box, those who are here. It's much easier to take the questions in the discussion section. But if yours, आपके नाम शुभ नाम भी दे दीजिए जी. Ayurved.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Could you identify yourself too, please? We can see you in the screen as Ayurvedant. If you wanted to change your name to give us your name plus Ayurvedant, then it will be good for all of us. Would you like me to rename? Would you like me to rename you? I can rename you.
Yeah, that would be perfectly fine, sir.
Or Pavanji will remain. Pavanji, namaskar. Please continue.
My name is Anushri and I am from Ayurvedant. That is a healthcare supplement brand of Vaidyanath Ayurveda. So I was listening to the conversation and there is something that really struck my mind, that WHO GMP also talks about producing high quality, high-end products. And at the same point of time, Ayush Premium also has also gives certain it also talks about good quality products. So if an organization has already got a WHO GMP certification, then what are the benefits that that particular organization can gain from getting an Ayush mark or an Ayush standard or an Ayush premium certification?
Thank you. Thank you for
curiosity. I appreciate your curiosity, but it will be answered within the presentations of our learned speakers. Navinji. I would like to request Navinji
to introduce our. We'll come to the answer to your question as we progress through the presentations. Also, we will save your question for the very end, for the question answer and the discussion section. If we can, then we'll get to hear our presenters first and then see if some of your needs are answered there. If not, we will take this up as we go along. Thank you for your question. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Please stay with us. If we can rename yourself, then we can address you by your name. If you can put your name in the chat box, then it'll be good. Thank you. Or Pavanji, if you make me the host, I can rename this person too. Thank you for joining us today. Namaskar ji. Naveen ji will take us on to the next speaker. Thank you, Naveen ji. Naveen ji, namaskar. Our next speaker is, thank you, Arunji, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, very valuable thoughts. On the list that Pavanji has provided, our next speaker is Sanjay Agarwal from Ministry of Ayush. Sanjay ji, pranam ji. Agar Sanjay ji hai hamare saath. Sanjay ji, namaskar.
Namaskar, sir.
Sanjay ji, namaskar. Thank you for joining us today.
Good evening to all of you.
Namaskar ji.
Am I audible?
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल, very clear, बिल्कुल साफ आ रहा है.
Our respected Shraddheya Guru, Professor C.V. Jha, sir. I did my MD under supervision of Professor C.V. Jha, sir, and respected all my seniors, Dr. Pawan Kumar Sharma ji. He is organizing continuously, untiring efforts to organize a type of webinar in front of us. So I salute to Dr. Pawan Kumar Sharma ji and the previous speaker, Mr. Arun Srivastava ji. I am agree with the statement of Mr. Arun Kumar Srivastava ji as he presented in his slide that there is a lack of awareness. Of course, such type of schemes, there is a lack of awareness among the physicians, among the manufacturers. I am not so much expert of these things. I am associated with Mr. Naveen Garg ji. Presently, I am an associate professor in the Department of Rasas and Research Kalpana, National Institute of Ayurveda. I have 15 years of experience in this field. So, अपने शुरुआत करने के पहले मैं सभी हमारे जो सीनियर्स हैं, हमारे जो कलीग्स हैं, मैं सबको नमस्कार करता हूँ, मेरा प्रणाम सभी को. Regarding the topic, the AYUSH marka, AYUSH standard and AYUSH premium, there is a need of quality products. As we know, there are four things in the treatment module, that is the physician, the drug, attendant, and the patient. There are huge literature about the quality of physician, the quality of medicine, the quality of attendants and the patient. And drug is the second most important tool in this treatment module. So everyone needs the standard drugs. There are huge literature. There are huge literature about the medicines, the standard drugs. As per the Charak Samhita, Bhautatra Yogatvam Anekviध Kalpana, Sampacheti Chatusquayam Drabyanam Gunuchate. The drugs should be found in the abundant quantity. It is able to treat the patient from the single drugs. There are various formulations can be made, and it possesses specific odors, the taste. That are the organoleptic studies, Shabda Sparsh Roop Ras Gandh. So we can say that drug is the most important tools for the physician. Without a standard drugs, the physicians are fails. Physicians become failure in practice. The other quotation as per the Susu Samhita, Vigandhena Pramrishtam Avipannam Rasadivi Navam Drabyam Puranam Grayam Vinidise. As per the Susu Samhita, whether drug is the Naveen or the Puran, but it possesses the specific smell and it should not be spoiled. That drug should be collected. If we go through the literature of different texts, the site of collection of raw material, the parts of plant, the season of collection, in which season we have to collect the proper medicines. So we have to give much more focus on the collection of raw material. There is huge literature, but the question is whether it is practical at present times, because on those times, in the ancient times, physicians are preparing the medicines for the patient by himself or herself. For the patients, they are living in the rural area and they collect the raw material in neighbor and compound it and dispense to the patients. Like the kitchen, if you are preparing the food products in kitchen, there is no need of standardization. But at present scenario, due to the urbanization, due to deforestation, even a physician depends upon the drugs which are available in the market. That's why we expect the standard product from the pharma company, the quality medicines. If we go through the different cutting news from the various newspapers, always there is a issue regarding the safe medicine, the quality medicines. How can you assure to the physician, to the patients? There is a big question. So, what are the requirements? The drug manufacturing license, the GMP certificates, and the product approvals. I don't want to go in the details. Mr. Naveen Kumar Gars will explain in a very thorough way. These are the quality assurance certificates, the GMP, WHO GMP, ISO, current GMP, quality standard premium standards, and the AYUSH premium certificate of pharmaceutical products. We know these are the voluntary scheme. It depends upon the pharmacy whether they want to adopt it or not. It is the details of these schemes are available at the site of Quality Council of India and the website of Ministry of AYUSH. This is a joint venture regarding the AYUSH premium and AYUSH standards. The AYUSH standard is for the domestic marketing and AYUSH premium is for the international marketing. So the GMP guidelines is essential for the AYUSH standards and the WHO GMP guidelines are required for the AYUSH premium. As I already told, this is a joint venture of the Ministry of AYUSH and the Quality Council of India, and it was launched in the 2009. These are the certification eligibility of such type of voluntary scheme. 5 commercial batches of the product of dosage forms, at least 1 year old manufacturing units. The inspection and quality assurance plants, there must be the in-house test reports, or the pharmacy which have no quality control labs, they can test it through the other AYUSH approved lab. There must be the self-evaluation reports and the internal quality assurance protocol. The validity of certification is for 3 years, and every year after that, every year surveillance audit should be done, and on the basis of sample basis methodology. If I talk about the standard marker, There, as mentioned under the Annexure C, the section 3rd, there are 4 types of heavy metals should be detected. The 4 types of aflatoxin, B1, B2, G1, G2, and 34 types of pesticides, and the 4 common microbial counts must be assessed. For the premium marker, there is a need of WHO GMP guidelines. They are WHO GMP certified. There must be the internal quality assurance protocol and product testings, 4 types of heavy metals, aflatoxin, pesticides, and microbial contamination as per the importing country, what they require. These are the 2 bodies, IR Class System and Solution Private Limiteds and the TQ certified services under the Quality Council of India. Dr. Naveen Kumar Garg, he's a technical expert and the assessor under the IR class. These are the certificate format of the AYUSH standard marker and the AYUSH premium. What are the advantage of AYUSH certification? It improves the quality and performance of product. If you adopt such type of volunteer scheme, the rigorous quality checks following and the fulfilling the criteria of AYUSH marks help organization to improve the quality of their products, which further helps in the improvement in the product performance. The visual assessment tool for the quality. AYUSH marker on the product gives a visual assessment tool regarding the quality of products and is helpful to guide the consumer to your products. Provide base for the COPP. Provide a base for the COPP certificate of pharmaceutical product for also product issued by the DCGI. AYUSH marker is meant in line with the international norms such as those set by the WHO or regulation of European Commission, USA and other countries. By adopting such type of volunteer scheme, the trust on product will be more. The presence of AYUSH marker on the product is a symbol of trust nationally as well as internationally. Reputation of company, if you adopt it, and it enhances the internal quality system. At present scenario, more than 65 companies have adopted the AYUSH standard and AYUSH premiums. Just you can see in the slides. But still there is a lack of awareness. Recognition from the CGHS and various states regarding the adopting the AYUSH premium and AYUSH standards. Even the Minister of AYUSH has National AYUSH Mission recognized the AYUSH premium marker. Haryana government also recognized. Gujarat government, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, Rajasthan, and even in the coming futures, there are several other states will adopt it. What are the challenges? The challenges are that it's a volunteer scheme, it is not mandatory. Lack of awareness in the AYUSH practitioner and beneficiaries. Absence in the educational curriculums. Even most of the physicians, they don't know about this thing. Doesn't connect to the Ayurvedic institutes and hospital. Gap identified between the standard and current scenario observed during the audit, and no linkage with the other popular accreditation scheme of Quality Council of India. So with this information, I am thankful to the organizers. Regarding the procedure, I hope Dr. Naveen Kumar Garg will explain in a very deep. So once again, I am thankful to the Pawan Kumar Sharma ji and Dr. Madan ji and all my senior colleagues to give me opportunity to share my views in this regards. Thank you.
Sanjay ji, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Thank you very much. You brought out some very important points. The number of industries who are following the mark, and in one of our previous presentations, we got an idea there are about 6,000 industries, small industries, large industries in this space, and only about 67 or 70 are coming aware of this or coming for this recognition. And this is a big problem. But it will not change overnight. We are appreciating that we didn't have these standards before. At least we have some standards. It will be an incremental improvement. और संजय जी आपने जो बताया बात की awareness, to make more people aware, and particularly the benefits of this is very important. And I don't know if you have any comments, but we will come to this in the question section. I will leave you with one question about suggestions on awareness. We will come back to this one question. Discussions में आएंगे जी. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद जी. Pawan ji, are we moving to our next? We are moving to our next speaker. Thank you, ji.
Sure.
If we can.
And our next speaker is the coordinator, today's coordinator, Dr. Naveen.
Naveen ji, namaskar. Thank you. I think if Sanjay ji stops sharing the screen, then we will be able to get our next speaker. Naveen ji, namaskar. I don't know if this is Sanjay ji's screen that's being displayed or whether this is Naveen ji's screen. Thank you. Sanjay ji, if you stop sharing the screen, then we will be able to get.
Naveen ji, kindly unmute yourself. Naveen ji की screen लग रही है सर.
हाँ जी, नवीन जी की screen. उसको नवीन जी नमस्कार.
Unmute कीजिए नवीन जी. हाँ, please. नहीं, unmute नहीं है. Kindly unmute.
पवन जी लगता है संजय जी का.
हाँ, हो गया. Welcome. Welcome जी, welcome.
नवीन जी नमस्कार. शायद संजय जी का स्क्रीन चल रहा है जी. I think.
जी नहीं सर, नवीन जी का स्क्रीन है.
नवीन जी का स्क्रीन. ठीक है जी. Thank you.
Naveen ji, kindly proceed.
Naveen ji, namaskar. I want to thank all our colleagues. Anushri ji, thank you for putting your details on the chat box here. We would like to learn a little more from you in the discussion section about Ayurvedant and your range of products, etc., etc. So thank you for being here with us today. Naveen ji, namaskar.
नवीन जी अनम्यूट कीजिए, आपका म्यूट चल रहा है. अनम्यूट कीजिए.
डॉक्टर पवन सर, मैं बीच में बोल रहा हूँ. नवीन सर को क्या कोई फोन कर सकता है क्या, कि आई थिंक उनका ऑडियो जो कंप्यूटर से रिलेटेड है वो कुछ गड़बड़ हुआ होगा.
आवाज उनको सुनाई पड़ती है, उनको अपना नहीं है. नवीन जी आप अपना माइक अनम्यूट कर लीजिए, एक बार ऑफ करके ऑन करिए. यस.
नवीन जी नमस्कार. आपका आवाज नहीं आ रहा जी. Sure. If Navinji is, Pavanji, if
Pavan, sir.
Navinji is having problems, maybe we can go to our next speaker and then come back.
I had a talk with him on the phone, sir, and
Acha.
he'll be reconnecting, rejoining again.
Acha, sure. Thank you. In the meanwhile, if
He is the keynote speaker of the day, sir.
Acha ji, we will wait for Navinji. Anushri, if you are there,
Naveenji,
Yes, sir.
Anushri, you are there.
Hari Om.
We will take
आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही नवीन जी.
Anushri, 1 minute, we'll just resolve this problem, but if there is a few minutes.
That's absolutely fine.
Thank you. Apologies for this.
Okay. You're most welcome. He is rejoining. Don't worry. In the meantime, you can take.
Thank you, Ji. So here we are. Anushri, the floor is yours for a quick question while we wait for our, if you want to give us a quick comment on what you've heard till now, your question is very important for us.
Yeah. So, like, Ayurvedant is a part of Baidyanath group. So we have all kind of herbal health supplements, starting from single herbs like ashwagandha, tulsi, giloy, to products that deal with lifestyle disorders like diabetes, high cholesterol, all these kind of things. And side by side, we also have a skincare brand, Mantra Herbal, which is also a part of Baidyanath group. So we have a range of skincare, hair care, body care, and all kinds of Ayurvedic products and Ayurvedic massage oils and Ayurvedic oils, pain management oils. So मुझे जो चीज समझना था कि अगर कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऑलरेडी WHO GMP सर्टिफाइड है तो उसके लिए क्या बेटर एडवांटेज वो रीप कर सकता है by taking Ayush Premium certification or Ayush Mark Ayush Standard certification. इस चीज को मुझे थोड़ा सा समझना था. दूसरी चीज जो मेरे को थोड़ा सा और उसमें थोड़ा सा समझना था वो ये है कि जब भी कोई सर्टिफिकेशन लेता है तो वो 3 years के लिए ही उसका बेंचमार्किंग क्यों रखा गया है ना आफ्टर 3 years दोबारा से री-ऑडिटिंग होता है जैसा करके कि इस पुराने पीपीटी में दिखाया गया था, इससे पहले वाले प्रेजेंटेशन में दिखाया गया था. तो इन दोनों चीजों को थोड़ा सा अच्छे से समझना है. और थर्ड क्वेश्चन है मेरा, यूजुअली जब आप एक ब्रांड के पर्सपेक्टिव से जब आप किसी सर्टिफिकेशन को लेने के लिए सोचते हो सो आपका एक इमीडिएट होप होता है कि इस सर्टिफिकेशन से मेरे कस्टमर्स का ट्रस्ट तो जीतेगा ही जीतेगा, उसके साथ साथ माय सेल्स फिगर विल आल्सो इंप्रूव. सो ये चीज भी थोड़ा सा आई वांटेड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट बाय टेकिंग आयुष premium certification, in what ways it can improve the sale of our products.
I think it's very thank you.
Three questions I wanted to understand.
All very important questions. I will attempt to just point you initially, but we are waiting, as you well know, we are waiting for our speaker. Okay, there we are. So we'll come, Anushri, we'll come back to your questions after the.
No problem, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for elaborating 3 questions.
Thank you, sir.
Are you joining us from Calcutta today? Where are you located?
So I'm located in Delhi.
In Delhi, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I think we have our
Naveenji.
Dr. Garg here with us.
Naveenji, please, stage is yours. Your voice is not coming.
If there is a difficulty, then we move to our, perhaps we can, Pavanji, because it's a very important topic, and if we move to the next speaker, maybe we can also get a mood for what kind of questions are being.
Your earbuds or speaker is not coordinating or communicating the proper. Please replace that earphone.
There is a question here from Naveen Gupta ji joining us from London. Naveen ji, namaskar. Your question is, would like to receive introductory mail with contact details from esteemed participants at Ayush Marks webinar.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
thank
Yes, sir.
नमस्कार जी
नमस्कार,
जी नमस्कार बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद
आवाज आ रही है सर, मैंने ऑन कर रखा है।
हाँ जी आ गया थैंक यू आ गया जी नवीन जी आपका आवाज आ गया अच्छा हमारे साथ दो नवीन जी है नवीन गुप्ता जी है लंदन से नवीन गर्ग नवीन जी आपका आवाज आ गया जी आई डोंट नो व्हाट यू हैव रिसॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम थैंक यू हाँ जी आ गया थैंक यू वेरी मच
Yes, good evening to all.
Naveenji, one request before you start. Are you able to present this in the presentation mode so that the whole, you can, thank you, yes. If it will display, sometimes we've had this problem that it does not display.
Sir, are you audible now?
We can hear you clearly, but if you can put that in a presentation mode so that it fills the screen, it'll be valuable. And we've had this problem before where people are unable to connect to the presentation mode somehow.
Sir, my presentation is visual.
Your presentation is visible, but can you put it in the presentation mode so that it fills the whole screen instead of the preview mode right now? Your presentation mode is in two locations. You can go to the bottom of the banner and there is a screen. There are 4 buttons on the bottom. Niche. If that is not possible, if you go to the top left hand, you can see a presentation button. You are unable to change, doesn't matter, sir. Let us proceed because you have a lot of very beautifully prepared slides. As I said earlier, our presentations are recorded, and if it is of a better quality, then people will be able to appreciate it better.
Now I am presenting Dr. Naveen.
Acha ji.
Kindly press F5. I think it would come into the presentation mode.
Acha ji, Ali ji, thank you. F5 will take it to the presentation mode. But if Pavanji is displaying this, Pavanji, namaskar. Apologies for this.
Yes, are you visible now, sir?
We can hear you. Naveenji, appreciate there's a little, if you are not presenting this, and if Pavanji is presenting on Zoom, there is a slight delay between when you ask for the next slide to when the next slide will be displayed. So,
yes, Pavanji has been displayed.
yes, Pavanji is trying to make it into presentation mode right now. Perhaps you can start, Naveenji. We will continue
yes,
with this.
Yes. Good evening to all. Thank you so much.
Is it not presented, sir?
Nahi ji.
No, sir. No.
Nahi ji. Abhi bhi wo out. Aa gaya.
I have presented that. Just a sec, sir.
Thank you.
Now,
Nahi ji, aa raha. Aa gaya. Thank you, Pavanji. Bahut dhanyawad. Bahut badhiya.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Naveenji. Thank you. Welcome to the platform. We look forward to understanding a little more from your perspective.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Very nice. And I am very thankful to the Mr. Arun Srivastavji. He explained the in the point of view from industry side, and he is the president of manufacturing units of Uttar Pradesh, and he is the lead manufacturer of Ayush Industries also. And we have selected for the as a speaker to expose the what are the challenges and what are the benefits, what are the advantage of the Ayush Premium Mark. And he is also certified, and its units is also certified under Ayush Premium Mark. Yes, and I am again thankful to the Dr. Sanjay Kumar, is Associate Professor, the Department of Rasastra and Vesaj Kalpana, National Institute of Ayurveda under Ministry of Ayush, for explaining the eligibility criteria and the what are the certification criteria, what are the statutory and regulatory requirement, what are the recognitions, and which companies are certified under this scheme. I am very thankful to the Associate Professor Dr. Sanjay Kumar, and I am very thankful to the organizers, especially Dr. Pawan Kumar Sharma ji. He selected this topic in the current scenario because Ayush Mark certification is fully exploring in India, and different private and government manufacturing units are accepting this certification to export and for supplying of Ayush qualified Ayush drugs to the hospitals and dispensaries. So yes, I am very thankful to the entire team of Dr. Pawan Kumar Sharma ji. Yes, and now I am coming to my topic, Ayush Mark scheme necessity and procedure. I am requesting to Pawanji, can you, yes, this is my introduction of Dr. Yes, Naveen Kumar. I am, yes, I am briefly introduce myself. I am Pharma PhD and GATE qualified, and I am presently technical head and assessor in IR Class Systems and Solutions Private Limited. This is the certification body is duly approved by the Quality Council of India and accredited by the National Accreditation Board of Certification Bodies. I have total 9 to 10 year experience in Ayush sector, in academic sector, industry sector, and now I am experiencing in auditing sector. More than 50 Ayush units I have audited, and before for 3.5 years I am handling the voluntary scheme for Ayush product certification. My previous experiences, I was pharmacognosist in Dravigun Department, National Institute of Ayurveda, Jaipur, Rajasthan. I was analytical chemist and Ayush Raj Enterprises, Jaipur, Rajasthan. I have published a lot of research papers in national, international journals related to the Ayush drug research, and I have got the patent from Government of India for anti-hypertensive formulation. And I have written the book, A Testing Protocol for Quality Control for Ayurveda Unani Siddha Products. And this is my brief introduction related to the Ayush sector. Please next. Yes. And first of all, I am introducing and I am briefing about the IR class. IR class is the certification body for the Ayush certifications, Ayush product certification, and parent organization of IR class is the Indian Register of Shipping, that is incorporated in 1975 by cabinet decision of steering committee constituted by Government of India. IRS was established as a public limited company, section 25 of the Indian Company Act in 1956, with no share capital, no stakeholders, no shareholders, and distributing the no dividend to making the not for profit organization. 1993 IRS coming the division of IRQS, Indian Register of Quality System, for ISO certification and training services. In later on 2014, it is separate entity as IR Class Systems and Solutions Private Limited for the certification of food and non-food divisions. Yes, next. Yes, and majorly we are working for the projects of Government of India: Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Swachh Rail Abhiyan, Drinking Water Survey, JED assessment, zero defect, zero effect assessments, National Skills Development Corporations for small assessments, and Ayush certification, and different training related to the FSSEI and certification related to the FSSEI under FSMS and FSSC certifications. These are the brief introduction about our certification body. And I am now coming on my topic related to the Ayush Mark scheme. Ayush Mark scheme is joint adventure of Ministry of Ayush, that is the scheme owner, and Quality Council of India, that is responsible for the regulating the scheme, and scheme regulator is the Quality Council of India. This is the this is coming in under the nodal agency of Ministry of Commerce. Ministry of Ayush and Ministry of Commerce is collaborating this a joint adventure as a Ayush Mark certification for the Ayush products. This is the product certification. Only product certification, not system certification. And NABCB is the national accreditation board, like a NABL or NABS. This is the NABCB. NABCB is the national accreditation board for certification bodies. That is the accreditation agency of India, that is nominated by the government of India. And there are the two certification bodies in Pan India for the third party assessment. One of the IR class systems and solutions, IRQS, is the approved certification body from the QCI and duly accredited by the NABCB. And we are the authorized for the Ayush product certification. And duly supervised by the QCI and NABCB also. NABCB taking the witness audits at client side, at organization sites, and QCI taking the validation audit for surprise visit to visualize the activity of certification bodies and the Ayush manufacturers, that is supervising by the QCI and NABCB both, to regulating this scheme and to supervising this scheme and to monitoring this scheme, how to act the certification body and how to act the manufacturers towards the auditors. That is very important role of government also in this scheme. Yes, next. Yes. Yes, previous. Back. Yes, Dr. Pawanji, can you take the back? Yes. No. Can you take the back? Yes, yes. IR class is the most popular certification agency as a third party inspection body for the Ayush industries, and we have total 75 manufacturers assigned with the Ayush Mark certification, and we have awarded the Ayush Mark certification for 45 manufacturers in Pan India. And audit in process is 8 manufacturers. Audit nullified, it means audit was nullified due to the non-compliance of certification criteria. The 5 organizations are nullified on the behalf of the certification criteria. And 2 government industries are involving for the certification of Ayush Mark. That is first Cooperative Drug Factory Ranikhet under the government of Uttarakhand, and the Pharmaceutical Corporation of Kerala, that is the PSU, Public Sector Unit of Kerala, that is certified under Ayush Standard Mark and Ayush Premium Mark. That is known as a Aushadhi. I think you know very well about the Aushadhi. Aushadhi is official name. The Pharmaceutical Corporation of Kerala under government of Kerala is also certified under Ayush Premium Mark and both and Ayush Standard Mark. And Cooperative Drug Factory, that is under in the Ranikhet under government of Uttarakhand, that is also certified in the Ayush Premium Mark. And this is the current scenario on the behalf of certification agency IR class. Yes, next. What are the, yes, I am requesting to the Dr. Pawan, please go ahead the next slide.
Naveenji, there is always a little bit of a time delay between when you say next to when Pawanji can
Yes.
for the next. So please, apologies for this. This is why it's easier if you could have controlled it. Pawanji.
Okay. Yes, yes. I am telling there are no need to display the slides, and I am continue my speech on the Ayush Mark scheme and what are the benefits of this scheme to the Ayush manufacturers and to the public and doctors and practitioners also. First, that scheme was recognized by the Ministry of Ayush in 2016 under National Ayush Mission for procurement of the drugs, procurement of the products in government hospitals and government dispensaries. That is the necessity and that is the mandatory for eligibility of the private manufacturers to incorporate the Ayush products, Ayush drug to the government sector hospitals. And that is recognized by the government of Uttarakhand, government of Bihar, government of Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi. There are the lot of states that is recognized this scheme to supply the Ayush Mark product in the Ayush hospitals, government hospitals. Yes, and Ministry of MSME is also recognized this scheme, especially in state of Gujarat and state of Uttar Pradesh. That is subsidized this scheme. All certification fees, testing fees, and implementation fees and consultancy fees is reimbursed by the Ministry of MSME, especially in the government of Uttarakhand, government of Uttar Pradesh and the government of Gujarat by the Ministry of MSME. Yes, and
Sorry,
yes.
Navinji, apologies. There is some difficulty. I think Pavanji is having some difficulty displaying your. Okay.
Yes, and this scheme is already, I have said, approved by the Quality Council of India, and this scheme is also published under the portal of QCI and Ministry of AYUSH. You can see about the regulation of a scheme, about the eligibility related to the certification procedure on portal of QCI and Ministry of AYUSH. And in online marketing zone like Amazon, Flipkart is also awarded to recognize this scheme for the online sell in public sector. And High Court Delhi is also recommended the group of CGSS hospitals under the procurement policy. A lot of manufacturers goes to the High Court to nullify this scheme to among the manufacturers, but Delhi High Court is recognized the Ayush Mark scheme to supply the Ayush Mark product in the CGSS hospitals in Pan India. That is the great achievement of this scheme and recognized by the CGHS hospitals. And Ayushman Bharat, this is a quality promotion agent honorable by the Prime Minister. And recently Prime Minister is said about the Ayush Mark in the Gujarat conference, recently organized the Gujarat International Conference in April month, in April 2022. Already Prime Minister has said any Ayush products in market that shall be certified under the Ayush Mark scheme. And recently in March 2022, Ministry of Ayush launched the subsidy related to the certification cost and testing cost to the manufacturers for the recognizing the product in market as under the Ayush Mark scheme. That is the recognitions, and these are the recommendations by the government side and by the public sector. Yes, next. Benefits. That is the very important. Ayush Mark is for the customer acceptability. Quality seal like a ISI mark, hallmark, egg mark, this lists for the customer acceptability. That is important for the customer acceptabilities. That is compliance. That is the recheck of the compliance of WHO GMP and GMP based on the guideline. GMP based guideline is applicable for the Ayush standard mark, and WHO GMP guideline is based on the Ayush premium mark. And this is important base for the issuing COPP. COPP is the certification of pharmaceutical product for exporting products that is issued by the DGCI. And this Ayush premium mark Ayush premium mark is the basic requirement for that to be prepare the base to the Ayush industries to issuing the COPP. And that is the third party quality evaluation of products for monopoly of business, and confidence to build up the doctor and patient confidence to prescribe the products as a drug or medicines. And value addition of product to enhance the product quality through the change and update the methodology and technology for the manufacturers. And there are the many benefits related to the customer acceptability, compliances, exporting of the products, evaluation criteria, and value addition at the point of view. These are the benefits of the Ayush Mark scheme. Different tenders or procurement policies is also recognized in different states. Some important website displayed about this scheme owner, Ministry of Ayush. You can see the website of Ministry of Ayush. You can see the website of Quality Council of India. You can see the website of NABCB, National Accreditation Board for Certification Bodies, and you can see the website of certification agencies, IR Class Systems and Solutions Private Limited, and web address is already written in my presentation, and we can share to all audience the detail of presentation and PPT like that. Yes, are you audible, sir?
Are slides moving?
Meiji, we are. Pavanji, please take us to the next slide. Thank you. Thank you, Ji.
Yes. What is the certification process? I am briefing about the certification process now. Are you audible now?
We can hear you, Anji. Please proceed.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Firstly, if any applicant means manufacturers is the applicant for the Ayush Mark certification, and application is submitted to the certification bodies, and certification bodies check the application criteria or eligibility criteria of the manufacturers. And there are the two types of the eligibility criteria that was explained by the Dr. Sanjay Kumar sir. First is the statutory and regulatory requirement. That is very important. Manufacturer must have the manufacturing license, valid manufacturing license as a renewal or fresh license. And second eligibility is the GMP certified unit shall be there. That is certified by the state licensing authority as a GMP certification. And third eligibility criteria, product is duly licensed or certified or approved by the licensing authority, state licensing authorities. These are the three criteria of as a statutory and regulatory requirement to for apply the certifications. And second criteria,
थोड़ा सा asynchrony जो आपकी slide और आप जो कह रहे हैं उसकी थोड़ा can we bring it, can we synchronize? कहाँ पे जी आपकी पवन जी अगले slide पवन जी शायद. Apologies for this, there is a slight delay. We are.
Please tell me slide number.
हाँ जी, नवीन जी कौन सी slide? नवीन जी नमस्कार.
नमस्कार, नमस्कार sir.
कौन सी slide पे जी? Next.
I think you have displayed the slide benefits related to the Ayush Mark certification to consumer or public.
Can we proceed? Are we proceeding to the next? Please proceed to the next slide, Pavanji.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Benefits of the product certification for patient welfare. I think that is, I am correct to synchronize the slide.
Haji, we are on benefits of product certification for patients' welfare. Thank you.
Yes. That is very important to grind to advantage on ground level to the with the perspective of the patient. First, there are so many activities we are doing during the audit to certify the products. Yes, are you audible?
We can hear you, Anji.
Okay. Yes. Firstly, a quality seal on the label of product. That is very important. Is certification mark provide the quality seal for separately for Ayush standard mark and for premium mark. That is the quality seal. And to build up the confidence and increase the acceptability of the Ayush products to the patient as well to the physician and doctors also. That is the first important thing is the quality seal that is impacted on the product label, that is pasted on the product label, that shall confidence, that build up the confidence and acceptability to the patient and doctors. Second parameter is the evaluation of the toxicological contaminants. During the audit, we evaluate the in-house testing reports like as a parameters, important parameters like aflatoxins, pesticide and heavy metals. These are the toxic elements, and we will withdraw, and we are withdrawing the samples during the audit for evaluating these type of the parameters from NABL accredited lab. From the NABL accredited lab, we are evaluating these parameters by the with confidentiality of the products, and by the rechecking or evaluating like that, the evaluating of the toxic contaminants. That is important for the safety profile, increase the safety profile of product in patient welfare. That is very important and very current issue related to the heavy metals contamination. And next is the microbiological contaminants. Microbiological contaminants very important to evaluating during the audit by in process and by the in-house testing reports, and we are withdrawing the samples during the audit for the assessment of the microbial contaminants like pathogens, different type of the pathogens, and total bacterial count, total fungal count. These are the parameters are evaluated by the NABL accredited laboratory. That is very important for the increase the safety profile of the product and reducing the side effect and adverse effect of the products in the patient welfare. And we are during the audit, we taking the witness of product manufacturing. At least one product from each dosage form we are taking the witness during the audit, and all process are witnessing by the certification bodies auditors. That is very important to increase the efficacy of the product in patient welfare, and how many controls and how many in-process checks are applied by the manufacturers to the product, each step of the manufacturing of product. That is very important to increase the efficacy of products in the patient welfare. And next is the quality control witness, very important for the assessment part in process of audit. That is important for the purity and strength of the product in the patient welfare. During all complete testing parameters are witnessed by the auditors during the evaluation or assessments. That is very important to increase the purity and strength of the products in the welfare of patient, and to create the confidence of doctors to prescribe the products under the prescription. And we are assessing during the audit process validation. Process validation is very important to increasing the efficacy of product and uniformity of the product. Product shall be uniform, dispensed by the dispensaries, and uniformly manufactures and maintain the uniform quality of the quality parameters to display the products. That is very important, and process validation is very important criteria of Ayush premium marks itself. And stability profile, that is very important, and statutory guidelines are already updated about the stability profile is mandatory to approve for approval of the drug licensing authority. That is important to determine the expiry and shelf life of the product for consumer or patient welfare. That is different benefits I have described in the patient welfare related to the same. Yes, and next. This is the certification process. How to proceed. How to proceed the application up to the certification. And for client and organization is the manufacturer, drug manufacturer. And firstly, manufacturer is apply to the CV certification bodies, certification agency, and organization is applied to the CV as an application, and CV will check the eligibility criteria like statutory and regulatory requirement first, and second is the certification eligibility. And I have described in detail related to the same. And first is statutory and regulatory requirement. There shall be 3 criteria related. First is the valid manufacturing license shall be there. Second is GMP certified unit shall be there by the state licensing authority. And third one is the product approved or product licensed by the state licensing authority. There are the 3 criteria of product as on the behalf of statutory and regulatory requirements. Yes, and Second one is the certification eligibility. Your dosage form shall be manufactured at least 5 commercial batch. At least 5 commercial batch shall be sold out in market in the point of view of dosage form, like capsule, tablet, syrup, like that. It means your product line shall be previously experienced in 5 times, and 5 times commercial batch is dispatched to the market. That is the first eligibility as the certification criteria. Second is the manufacturing unit itself at least 1 year old and have the valid licensing in the valid licensing period. And third one is the internal quality assurance protocol that mention the all quality parameters related to the raw materials, related to the finished products, how to handle the market complaint, how to calibrate the equipment, how to handling the non-compliances, what are the criteria of the labeling of the products, and what are the criteria of the manufacturing of batch, and what are the criteria of assessment of the contaminants. These are the inclusive part of the internal quality assurance protocol that shall be assured by the manufacturers to the CV before the application. That is very important on the basis of technical, that is eligibility criteria of application. And with application, we demand to the manufacturers different documents like a list of equipments, list of 5 commercial batches, list of products, list of raw materials, list of poisonous drugs, and test reports, in-house test reports and the external test reports, and list of outsourcing activities with agreement. These are type of the documents are essential with the application to apply the CV. Certification bodies and certification bodies review the application and all requirement, all pre-audit requirements on the basis of the registration procedure. On the compliances of pre-audit requirement, certification body are registered the application for the AYUSH mark certification. Then after registration of the application, a certification body decide the time scale, audit team, and scope of the certification. Scope means how many products and which type of the dosage form you want to certify, and scope is very important on the behalf of the product certification. This is a product certification. And file review, these are the procedure are applied after the registration of the application. And for the AYUSH standard mark, only one audit is essential to certify the product. Directly stage 2 audit is come on the AYUSH standard mark. On the GMP compliance, GMP, it means domestic regulation compliance, we are assessing during the audit, and one audit is essential for the AYUSH standard mark certification. And for the AYUSH premium mark certification, there are the 2 audits will be essential. First is the stage 1 audit, and second is the stage 2 audit. During the stage 1 audit, we raise the area of concern, and we give the time of 3 months to comply the all requirements and to fill up the gap, and like as a gap analysis as a stage 1 audit. After 3 months, we are conducting the stage 2 audit, and stage 2 audit is equal to the equal to the standard mark and premium mark, but criteria is the different. In standard mark, GMP compliance shall be there, and for a premium mark, WHO GMP compliance shall be there. And that is the stage 2 audit is the final audit, and we are raising the minor non-conformity and major non-conformity if any gap is found during the assessment, during the evaluation, during the audit. Yes, and we give the appropriate time to compliance the all requirements. And for the major non-compliances, we give the 1 month time to submit the corrective action plan. And for the minor non-compliances, we give the 60 days time for the submission of corrective action plan with evidences with root cause analysis. And after the audit, we will withdraw the samples for the external testing by the NABL accredited laboratory. During the initial evaluation, we withdraw the factory samples, and in the surveillance evaluation, we will withdraw the market sample, and we can withdraw the market sample from the retail shop, wholesaler, distributor, and direct from the control sample room of manufacturers also. We can withdraw the samples on the basis of the sample withdrawal criteria as decided by the Quality Council of India. And after the sample withdrawal, testing was done by the external laboratory, and outcome of the results of testing and compliances of the all clauses of Ayush mark, and the file goes to the reviewer, and reviewer will review the file related to the compliances and related to the certification criteria and related to the testing criteria. And after approval of reviewer, then decision making by the decision maker for the certification, and certification is granted to the manufacturers, and 3 years is the validity of the certification. Every year surveillance is mandatory. After 3 years, recertification and renewal certification is take place on this platform. And that is the briefing about the Ayush mark certification procedure and how to proceed for the application up to the certification. Ayush premium mark stage 1 and stage 2 audit will be applicable, but Ayush standard mark only one audit, stage 2 audit will be applicable. That is the concluding remark. Next. Yes, these are the important websites. I have already explained related to that. That scheme owner is Ministry of Ayush, and you can visit the website of Ministry of Ayush. Scheme regulator, Quality Council of India. You can visit the website of the Quality Council of India related to the eligibility criteria, related to the certification procedure, related to the appeal and complaint, related to the standards, related to the certified organizations, and related to the which products are certified by the certification bodies, and media publication and recognitions all are there on the public platform by the website of Quality Council of India. Accreditation body is the National Accreditation Board for Certification Bodies. You can check the status of the inspection agency certification bodies related to the eligibility criteria and related to the validity of the accreditation. You can check the website of the NAPCB, and you can check also website of the certification bodies, and that is mandatory to display in public platform how many products are certified and which companies are certified under this scheme, which products are certified under this scheme, and which product are suspended and withdrawn from this scheme. That is clearly mentioned on these websites, and these are the details about public platform. Next. Yes, media coverage, different articles I have published in different medias, newspapers related to the आयुष मार्क एक गुणवत्ता प्रतीत, ये प्रमाणीकरण आयुष प्रोडक्ट के प्रमाणीकरण और गुणवत्ता के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. कैसे पहचाने आयुर्वेदिक दवाइयों की शुद्धता, और आयुर्वेदिक दवाइयों की गुणवत्ता का जिम्मा लिया QCI ने. Different types of the articles we have published in the public media. Yes, next. Yes, Ayush mark is the Gunavatta Pratik for Ayush products, and that is and Manekikaran and Shodh ki Avashyakta in Ayush sector, that is innovated by the Ayush mark scheme, and these are very displayed in different public medias. Next. कोरोना काल में आयुष उत्पादों की गुणवत्ता पहचाने, क्योंकि अभी कोरोना जो प्रेजेंट सिनेरियो में और प्रीवियस 3 साल से हम जिस सिचुएशन को हैंडल करते आ रहे हैं, तो आयुष प्रोडक्ट्स को रिकॉग्नाइज किया है मेनली कोरोना ने, क्योंकि कोरोना के टाइम पे बहुत लोगों की जिंदगी बचाई है, बहुत लोगों ने यूज किया है आयुष प्रोडक्ट्स को. लेकिन आयुष प्रोडक्ट्स की भी गुणवत्ता हम कैसे पहचाने, क्योंकि एक ही प्रोडक्ट यदि 100 मैन्युफैक्चरर्स बना रहे हैं, तो कौन सा प्रोडक्ट कंज्यूमर ले, कौन सा डॉक्टर प्रोडक्ट प्रिस्क्राइब करे। तो इस अहम पॉइंट पर भी हम इवेल्युएशन और असेसमेंट पर बहुत एसेंशियली बहुत फोकस किया है कि जो भी प्रोडक्ट मार्केट में जा रहा है पब्लिक वेलफेयर के लिए, पेशेंट वेलफेयर के लिए, वो अच्छी क्वालिटी का होना चाहिए। और क्वालिटी के जो भी पैरामीटर्स हैं, चाहे वो टॉक्सिकोलॉजिकल पैरामीटर्स हैं, फिजियोकेमिकल है, या स्टेबिलिटी प्रोफाइल है, या एफिकेसी के पैरामीटर्स हैं, उन पे खरा उतरे, तभी वो प्रोडक्ट रिकॉग्नाइज्ड हो आयुष मार्क से और एक पब्लिक वेलफेयर के लिए और पेशेंट की अच्छी हेल्थ के लिए वो प्रोडक्ट जाए। तो ये भी हमने इस क्राइटेरिया को भी हमारे जो प्रोटोकॉल है इवेल्युएशन का और ऑडिटिंग का उसमें सम्मिलित किया है। नेक्स्ट। Yes, thank you so much, and I am very thankful to the team of organizers, especially Dr. Pawan Kumar Sharma ji, to give the opportunity to explore my knowledge, explore the experience related to the handling of Ayush Mark scheme, and give the opportunity of exploring this scheme in public platform. Yes, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Navinji. Thank you. I think Pavanji will take us on to our next speaker. In the meanwhile, Navinji, there is a request that aapke jo slides would be appreciated. Anushri ji has asked for your slide. If you could share your contact details in the chat box, then Anushri ji and others will be able to connect with you to request.
All slides are with us, sir.
Achha ji.
They can contact independent society, sir.
Achha, Pavanji, I have put your telephone number there.
Right, sir. Right.
98309-89242. So those who are interested in Naveen Garg's Naveen Garg's very, very informative presentation, for those who are on this platform, there is the details, Pavanji's details are in the chat box. Those who are joining us live on YouTube, the number to connect with the Independent Research Ethics Society is through Dr. Pawan Sharma here, and Pawan Sharmaji's telephone number with the country code 91 for India, 98309-89242. I repeat Pavanji's number again for those who want to get hold of Naveen Garg's presentation. Country code 91-98309-89242. Thank you, Pavanji. A lot of people are asking for this valuable, wonderful presentation from Naveen ji.
Thank you, sir. Really, thank you for your blessings. Now, without wasting much time, I would like to request Dr. Charminder Kaur ji. Welcome, madam. Welcome on the platform first time. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Pavanji. And today on behalf of IR Class Systems and Solutions also, आप सभी eminent personalities को जो आयुर्वेदा का इतना integral part है, उन सभी को जिन्होंने इतना precious time अपना निकाला है, I'm extremely grateful to all of you. My heartfelt gratitude. And I would request Pavanji, अगर please आप मेरी slides साथ में share कर लें, तो I will not waste too much of time and I can start with the presentation. As the process moves forward, first of all, I thank Naveen ji for making my task extremely easier because he's gone through the basic principles of the scheme. हम आ रहे हैं issues and challenges जो एक auditee माने एक manufacturer face करता है when he introduces himself to the scheme. The challenges first of all met are one, that the manufacturer does not know what the scheme is, right? He is not aware of the compliances required for these standards. He is not aware, even while he is a part of this scheme, he is not aware about the sample withdrawal plans and the sampling plans. And again, there's a conflict between COPP and the premium mark. So these are the main 4 challenges which every manufacturer faces while being a participant of the scheme or within the scheme or outside the scheme. Now, to brief these challenges, we'll come to each challenge one by one. The first being awareness to the scheme. As Naveen ji has complied, I would not put it to much elaborate form. I'll summarize here that this scheme is basically divided into two levels, as what everybody has said. This is AYUSH standard mark and AYUSH premium mark. Standard mark here implies compliances to the domestic regulatory requirements, that is the GMP. And the premium mark here complies compliances to WHO guidelines. So the option here are that the compliances to the GMP requirements based on WHO guidelines for GMPs for pharmaceutical products or the herbal products, or it could be the requirements of the importing country while a manufacturer is exporting his products. For now, the premium mark has his parenthesis to only and only herbal products. They do not include the herbo-mineral preparations. For standard, this graph is open. So the requirements of heavy metals shall not be applicable to the AYUSH products having raw materials of metallic origin, especially for the premium mark. There is no such entity for the domestic market. How a manufacturer, an ABC manufacturer, is qualified to become a part of the scheme. So before being qualified, one, he has to have a manufacturing company. He has to have a manufacturing license, a valid manufacturing license. And another prerequisite is there is an in-house testing facility, especially for the premium mark. Now, the option here we proceed with is that he or the company can also be, has enrolled an NABL accredited laboratory for many tests that he cannot do within the premises. For example, heavy metals or any other aflatoxins or microbial limits. Then, apart from the qualification of the manufacturer, there is a conflict of COPP and AYUSH premium mark. It is very clearly mentioned in the Act that the voluntary certification scheme of AYUSH products also provides the basis of grant of COPP for AYUSH products to the manufacturing units certified with AYUSH premium mark. So once you are AYUSH premium marked organization, you can always approach the Ministry of AYUSH for the grant of COPP. So this is basically what? It's a platform. Once this platform is set, the next medium to COPP is much easier. The elements of this certification processes are: one, to evaluate your manufacturing process, the manufacturing facility, to evaluate the operations of your manufacturing, to evaluate the hygiene that you follow during the practices, to evaluate your capability of the manufacturer to produce a quality product, and not just produce it once, but a desired quality of product on continuous basis. I will come to this continuous basis in the further slides. Then we have to verify if the specific product and the dosage form that you've applied for AYUSH standard mark or AYUSH premium mark has been approved by the licensing authorities, that is the statutory requirements. The evaluation of the quality of the AYUSH products is in compliance to the relevant certification criteria to the testing of the products, which are sampled from the unit or from the market as on the process comes. This is also to ascertain the validation of process of manufacturing and process of testing. The information that is gathered from the manufacturer prior to audits is: one, his contact details; second, his legal entity; third, his functional capability; his relationship with any larger organizations; yes, the location; the drug license; the validity of the drug license; his other details, such as the dosage forms, the products that have been enclosed, that have been approved from the State Drug Authority, the trademark that he's applied for, and of course, the certification criteria pertaining. There is no judicial proceeding relating to any product, any process, or there is no suspension or cancellation or withdrawal of any product under any irregularities. That product, that dosage form is not considered for any premium or standard marks. So the applicant's activities, description of the product processes, your manufacturing facilities, your technological context, here your manpower also is included, your facility layout, and your human and technical resources, either internal or external or contract. Any NABL accredited lab you're hiring, any pest services that you're hiring, right? They are all resources that have to be audited or to be enclosed in the audit forms. So information concerning all processes, the number of shifts, in what shifts you work, information on your in-house laboratory or external testing facilities, the control exercised by the applicant for ensuring the product conformity. Here comes the IQAP, which is the internal quality assurance plan that each manufacturer sticks to while he's producing a product. So the information concerning all the process outsourced, if any, by the applicant that have potential to affect the conformity of the requirement with name addresses of the outsourced organizations is also taken into the compliances. So which implies here that an external laboratory, see, we are dependent upon an external laboratory to check our heavy metals. So that external person, the external entity is also entitled before we certify the product under standard or premium mark. So the key technical requirements for WHO GMP compliances are environmental control premises. This is a summary. Your cleanliness and hygiene that is followed in the unit. Equipment qualification and validation. Equipment calibration. Uniflow process. The man movement, the material movement. The staff competency. The process validation. The stability studies. Your storage rooms, your warehouses, within the premises or away from the premises. Quality control, both on the product and the process. Your process sections, quality assurance, internal policies, pest and rodent control, and the last one, the IQ, DQ, OQ, PQ of your machinery. So man, machinery, and the material. All the three have to be in compliance for a standard or a premium mark. The key documentations that you have to prepare before getting enrolled to a standard mark or a premium mark are your BMRs and BPRs, the manufacturing records, the packaging records, your manufacturing formula, MFR, the SOPs, standard operating procedures, standard testing procedures, your site master plans, your quality manual, training schedules, training induced, and the training manuals, vendor approvals, the persons from which I'm uptaking my raw material. How controlled is that is also very important. Process validation, your stability studies as to this, enhancing the shelf life of your product, testing reports, specifications, records, in-process checks, recalls, rejections, reprocesses, complaints, and your stock. So an auditor would monitor all these documents, verify them on site, assess their validation, assess their efficacy, and then proceed for certification. The next slide has already been described by Naveenji. We can always shift to the next one. Yeah, so the initial evaluation of the product and the processes at the site of applicant. Please mind here, it's an on-site process. Only because of Corona, we were going through remote audits. Initial evaluation of the product and the process at the site of applicant shall be conducted within the 1 month of registration of the application. So a satisfactory registration of the application is once done. We take a period of 1 month to analyze the team that will audit the premises, the man days that would be taken care of. So after 1 month, we plan to audit the firm. The initial evaluation of AYUSH standard mark. Here we divide how standard mark is different from the premium mark. As Naveenji has already conveyed, standard mark starts directly from stage 2. We verify the compliances with the statutory requirements. We witness the production processes, covering as many products as applied for. And applied for here means the scope of the certification. It isn't necessary for a manufacturer if he's making tablets, capsules, syrups, asaforetaz, and paste. He has to go for all of the products. He might select few and go for the certification. We evaluate the control over incoming materials, in process materials, the finished good, that is, the final finished good, and the packaging material. We verify the adequacy of testing facilities. Here, not just the testing personnel, not just the raw material, the intermediate material, the finished product, and even the equipments. So it is witnessing the process, the equipments involved, the manpower involved, and the product involved. We also verify the competency of the testing personnel, withdraw samples which go to an independent laboratory for testing, and to ensure that the compliances are met for. The evaluation team, the auditors that come on site and audit the firm, they prepare an initial report. The deficiencies are shared with the auditee, and once these deficiencies are closed, effectively closed for that matter, once these deficiencies are effectively closed, the standard mark is provided to the party. For Ayush Premium Mark, there is another one step that is a preview step before we go to stage 2, which is the stage 1 evaluation. We verify the applicant has system in place. We evaluate the status of GMP vis-a-vis the production processes. We ascertain the availability of adequate equipments. We ascertain the availability of competent personnel. And we ascertain the availability of testing facilities, in-house and external. We also ascertain the availability of records required to be maintained and the control on the incoming, the intermediate, the bulk, and the finished products. The stage 1 deficiencies are again conveyed to the firm. Gap analysis is done. Once the auditor is convinced that the gaps have been filled, effectively filled, a stage 2 audit is conducted. So in the stage 2 audit, once these gaps are filled, we verify and report the compliances to the applicable criteria. We witness the process of production. We check the process controls. We withdraw samples and then, prepare the report. Again, major conformities, minor conformities are compiled. The non-compliances are shared with the auditee and is given a stipulated time to close these gaps. Once effectively these deficiencies are closed, the scheme is awarded with. The benefits of the scheme, when we go into such a situation wherein we share all our data, all our processing, all our quality intricacies with the auditor, the basic aim is that we produce an efficacious product. We produce a pure product and a quality product that goes to the customer. Now, how to ascertain whether my product is of best quality? No mother would ever say my child is no good, right? To ascertain this, there's a process of qualification and validation. The company should always identify what qualification and validation work is required to prove the critical aspects of the particular operation. All the operations should be controlled, from the temperature at what your material is being cooked, to the environment in which the material is being cooked, to what boiling point do you have to take your syrup or asava in case a boil is required there, to what temperature do you have to cool your product. Everything should be controlled. The key points are expected to be clearly defined in the master file. To add here, the premises, supporting utilities, the equipments, both in the lab and in the manufacturing section, the processes, all have to be designed in accordance to the requirements of GMP. Not just designed, they have to be installed in compliance to these specifications. They all should be working or being operated in accordance to these. And there should always be a specific drawn process, completely underlined process to produce the same product again and again that determines the specifications and the quality of that product. The company should identify what qualification and validation work is required to prove the critical aspects. And again, these should be clearly defined in the master file of the company. The benefits, so the next slide, please. As Naveenji briefed on the benefits of the product certification and patient welfare, see the basic tool, this is a tool only to enhance the purity and the strength of the product. It is a tool that the customer, here being the doctor, the Vaidya, and the consumer, which might be me and you, to know that the product they are taking for a particular disease is efficacious enough to resolve their problems. I believe I have briefed the whole project in a proper manner, in a manner that you all could understand. And I'm very thankful for the precious time that you've given. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you.
Sharminderji, thank you so much. You have taken us so wonderfully into all those specific details that are important for the whole process. I wish we can have many more of these sessions, because this is what is coming through from the discussions today, that there is a need for more interaction with the manufacturers. And it will have to be in a local language, because we have about 6,000 odd manufacturers across the country. And for the benefit of the manufacturers, it will essentially have to be in a local language, in whichever state that is. So that is a big task. How the IR class, the group based in Chennai, are looking at this, how you're going to get the ministry to recognize the need for engaging in the local language is one issue. The second point that's coming through, and the question that is raised here, is there a gap between the standards that are being set in your in these wonderfully laid out programs and the all-important issue of efficacy of a formulation? And how are you monitoring these things? So what is coming through from your presentation and Naveenji's presentation is you've put together a very detailed structure for all the physical processes in terms of herbs and storage and, instrumentation and validation, etc. But are we missing something here in terms of efficacy? So these are the two first points that I would want to raise, particularly because, Sharminderji, I think you are an Ayurveda person, so you understand Ayurveda very well. So yes, I think you will appreciate my question about the efficacy. We've discussed this in previous webinar conferences here, that industries are also now being asked to provide evidence of efficacy if it is beyond the formulations that are within the 47 or X number of books, the traditional books. Am I correct? I hope I've understood this correctly.
Yes, yes, you are.
शर्मिंदर जी, दूसरी चीज है जो सवाल जो आए इसमें हमारी from one of our colleagues here with us today, and Anushri ji. The question was to give us a little more information about the different products that are there. That right now we had a Gazette notice, I think sometime back. There is a document that was written by DBA Narayan and CK Katiyarji about this Gazette documentation, which says we now have something called phytopharmaceuticals. It's a Gazette. And the phytopharmaceuticals are now divided into 3 licensing organizations. So there will be some that will be taken care of by FSSAI. There will be some that will be taken by Ministry of Ayush, and some that will be taken care of by CEDESCO. So is there some confusion here? I think the question Anushriji asked, I think is pointing to that confusion. Number one, what are those formulations where there are, to which agency you go, and where does Premium Mark fit in all the scheme that is there in that Gazette notification? I don't know if you or somebody else in this platform would like to address that. But the floor, I want to before I open the floor for discussion, I want to thank all our speakers for taking us into this very important development that's happening in the country, which didn't exist till I guess it didn't exist. It's only the first time that we are starting to put these kind of structures together. So from people I've discussed about 10 years before, none of these things existed as little as 10 years ago, but it's a wonderful thing that's happening. It will take some time for people to appreciate why this is important and the benefits to be had. I think that is a challenge for all of you people to tell the manufacturers that if you have these certificates, you have benefits to be had, and to get more of the manufacturers to sign up to this certification and the benefits, once again, to tell them these are the benefits. There are from what I understand, out of those 6,000 odd manufacturers, licensed manufacturers, there are a very large number of small manufacturers, and sometimes I feel they may not have the resources to start looking into these things, either manpower or whatever the reason. How are you going to help those people too? So a set of questions that are coming out of the clarifications that you've given us today. So first of all, thanks to all the speakers for these wonderful presentations. Number two, thanks to Pavanji for always challenging us with these amazing topics that makes us want to think harder. And for everybody here, our senior colleagues here, I can see Professor C.B. Jha is here with us. He might also want to add something. The floor is open for questions. I will take, I don't know, Sharminderji, maybe you can guide us a little bit with some of these questions, particularly the one raised by Anushriji, what are the benefits?
Sure.
Thank you. And then I will request Professor Jha to just add a little bit to this. And we have Naveen Gupta ji, a former, a long-time student of Tibia College in New Delhi, and now based in Delhi and across Europe. He's also keen on one or two questions. So I invite Naveen ji after C.B. Jha ji. Sharminder ji, the floor is yours. Just to clarify, just to add a little more on Anushri's question.
Sure, I'll try my best. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Anushri ji?
Yes, sir.
Namaskar ji, your question. Number one, Anushri ji, Naveen ji's contact number is here. I will read that out for those who want Naveen ji's presentation. Naveen ji can be Naveen Gargji's presentation. You can reach Naveen Gargji at country code 91 for India, 988-712-5894. For people who have missed that number, all our conferences are archived. You can visit our IRS, the website, and you can pick up the conference and you will see these details there. If you join the Zoom platform, you will be able to exchange questions. So we invite more and more people to join our Zoom platform. Sharminder ji, all yours. Now, I will first request Anushri to ask her question. Anushri ji, are your question that you raised during the early part of the session, is it clearer now, or is there still some confusion? Anushri ji? Is Anushri here with us? Anushri,
Yes, sorry, there was some probably technical difficulty. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, okay, thank you, ma'am. So the first question that I wanted to know is that if a manufacturer has already got a WHO GMP license,
Yes.
which already says a lot about their product quality. So how does, what kind of benefits that manufacturer may reap from taking an AYUSH premium certification?
All right. Let us come to the basic difference, right? GMP is good manufacturing practices, right?
Yes.
So it is basically ensuring that the product is consistently being produced in a controlled environment, and you're getting the same product again and again, all right? GMP is a stepping stone to attain a premium mark. So premium mark is a step ahead of the GMP, right? And GMP is processes. When we say it's an AYUSH premium mark certified product, it is a product certification. Each product is distinctively being certified for its quality, right? So this is the basic difference. GMP is practices. When I talk about AYUSH standard mark, when I talk about AYUSH premium mark, here I am certifying the product. And without being a GMP certified unit, you cannot avail the standard or the premium mark.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, again, as the ministry has assisted us, as the government policies has assisted us, AYUSH standard mark pertains or constrains itself to the domestic regulatory market. Right? But the AYUSH premium mark has wider horizons. Here we talk about exporting the product. We manage in compliances to the importing country requirements. So if my importing country requires a particular nomenclature for heavy metals or a particular microbial load limit, then I perceive my product accordingly. Here, WHO GMP plays no part. It's again a product certification.
All right.
Right?
Okay.
So probably I've made myself clear.
Yes. But I just wanted to understand one more thing from you, ma'am. If we are, as you said, that AYUSH premium plays a very important role when you think of exporting your product to, selling your product to other countries. So every country has their own
norms.
Cosmetic regulatory authority, right?
Correct.
So if my product has AYUSH premium mark, then is it mandatory to go through that country's regulatory procedures? Or
yes, ma'am. It is as simple as I, being a Punjabi, if enter a South Indian's home, then I have to comply to his way of living.
Yeah.
Right.
A wonderful example.
So it is basically my invitee's criteria.
Okay.
So we have to comply to his requirements.
Okay. Yeah. And the next question that I asked, that why have you given a 3-year of like the certification has to be renewed after every 3 years? Why 3 years timeline has been given?
This is in accordance to the the certification bodies, the NABCBs and the QCIs. It is as good as asking me why a certificate of a drug license is being given for 5 years, and after 5 years I go through the whole churning process of renewal. It is basically, see, you might sleep back if you are driving a cruise control car. There is always a chance of an accident when a car is being cruised. But you're always aware when you drive it manually, when to change the gear, when to accelerate, when to put the brake. And for that, we have to intervene. There's always a requirement. I essentially tell this to all manufacturers. When we raise our child, we tend to close our eyes to many things. But the minute there's a guest in our home, we want him to be perfect. So that perfection is attained only when an external auditor comes to your house. You have to invite that external auditor every 3 years for renewal, apart from the surveillances, so that you're always in tune with what is going inside in the industry and the changes and the amendments that the government makes.
Okay.
Samriddhi, thank you so much. You are giving simple ground to earth kind of examples. You have given us 2 examples which are very, very nice, and I think we will remember this very clear. That the first example of the guests locate, that is such a lovely example. Every country has its own sort of needs, and we have to respect that. The second one is this constant monitoring is important. And that is so important. The example you gave about the family and the child, this is such a wonderful example, which is unless you keep constant monitoring, you will never be able to achieve. I think, Anushriji, is your question, is 3 years too little or was it too much? What is on your mind?
So 3 years, I was thinking it was like too little, like 5 years would have been better. But if that is the procedure, then that's absolutely fine.
I think Sharminder ji might even say we should do it annually. That would be even more amazing. When we design an instrument here, I follow some work that's going on medical devices directive. They're very stringent revalidation. And some of those things have to be revalidated very frequently. There is no excuse. And it's a very expensive process because you have to go through all those many steps to get it revalidated. And so these are the kind of issues that when we have a small manufacturer who might be producing a very important product. I want to invite Parulji here, one of our senior guides here. Parulji, Pranamji. And Parulji is saying, even if it is not in accordance with Ayurveda texts. So is this Ayurveda text say that certain formulations or certain things can be done in a certain way, and there is a little more freedom there. Now there is a tension here, a tension between somebody like Parulji who says, we are getting there are too many regulations that are going to restrict innovation, development, versus something which says, unless you have those regulations, we don't get the standards. And if we don't have the standards, you cannot go out to the world. And that tension is there. I think this is, maybe Parulji can ask the question more clearly. Parulji, namaskar.
Sarji, namaskar, everybody. Good evening to everybody. Every country has its own regulations. I don't mind that. But this is an Ayurvedic product, which we are trying to give them. We are trying to help them in their health improvement. So when we export our products, if the countries want our products according to what they want, how do we actually help them? Because, for example, American rules are very much different from Ayurvedic way of preparing a thing, and the Ayurvedic, we can say, standards of a drug are very much different from what America expects us to give. So my students who are actually manufacturing in the field would avoid going to America because they feel that the Ayurvedic standards are just destroyed because of those rules, and then they say that your drug is not working properly. Though Himalaya Drug Company has manufactured drugs as per standards of many countries, and they're exporting to China also, to Sri Lanka also, to England also, and to America also. But those standards, as Madan sir is constantly saying, are very, very costly, and so the prices go up. So every country, for example, African group of countries, cannot afford them. So can we bring these countries together and ask them, saying that our texts say this, our standards are this, and they are not going to harm you. For example, as we were discussing some days before, that there are certain bacteria, certain fungi, they are not always poisonous or unfriendly to the human body. And you're saying that we don't want them, just remove them. So it disturbs from farming to gathering them, to manufacturing a drug, and to marketing a drug. The whole system is just made very, very strict and impossible for many players to just enter there. So can we do anything for that collectively, globally? I'm not saying India and America or India and Africa. I'm saying globally, because we wish to be helpful to the human community globally. That's my question, madam. You were answering so very nicely. I'm not a technical person in pharma, but even then I could understand. So thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Parulji. Thank you so much for your kind words. Well, you know, somewhere when I talk about Ayurveda, even I believe, you know, that we've been taught that way, that Ayurveda never ever has side effects. But cautiously speaking, you might be allergic to anything, right? You might have an immune response to even a smallest thing like haldi. Right? See, each country has its own regulations. Probably that is why dossiers are being made. Dossiers are made to prove that the product that you make, the final product that you present to a country, a customer for that matter, what is there in the product, how is that product working on the liver of human beings, on the kidneys of human beings, what if that product is being used consistently for 3 months, what will happen on the patient, what if that product is being used in a higher dosage, what will happen to the patient. Ma'am, actually Ayurveda, I am not saying that Ayurveda doesn't have its own strength. But when we come to a global platform, there is a term called pharmacovigilance, which needs to be studied with Ayurveda. We need to understand where our medicines are moving, how are they helping. Yes, on a global platform, we can always say that the Ayurvedic drugs are safe. We can always convey that this won't harm you. But do you or do I believe that just by saying that this won't harm you, the other person would believe us? We will have to prove our facts. We will have the science confirming our facts. We have to prove it through, multiple testings, maybe an HPLC fingerprinting, maybe a DNA printing of my product, maybe its clinical efficacy is being studied on some thousand number of patients. But somewhere down the line, we have to prove ourselves. We have to prove our statement. That is an expensive process. I do not deny. For a small player, it is an expensive process. But just think, expenses one made and the product coming to that quality, will that manufacturer ever remain small? He has a wider range of audience to take care of.
You are true, madam. But if a product is made in Himachal Pradesh and a product made in Chennai, a product made in Rajasthan, same product, will have different qualities, madam.
True.
And those Western people will not understand this. That is going to disturb us.
Again, a question that I tend to lose words upon. Very true, ma'am. This is what we understand, that जैसे प्रकृति बदलेगी, जैसे स्थान पे वो औषधि उग रही है, वो बदलेगी, उस प्रोडक्ट की क्वालिटी बदलती चली जाए. So very true. But probably again, here is where science helps us. The phytochemical analysis of herbs, the graphs of the herbs, the active assays. That is where, again, these new machines, the new techniques help us to assay the product in that manner. Yet I would not confirm my statement by saying, even after all doing all this, the Chyawanprash I build up in Uttarakhand and the Chyawanprash I build up in Kerala would be same.
Yeah.
I will not assuredly say, confirm this statement, but somewhere after doing all these exercises, I might reduce this gap.
Thank you. I think Parulji's, let me give a little bit on the background, Sharmindaji, why these questions are coming out. Because in our sessions, many of our sessions recently, we've been talking about the new WHO Center for Global Center for Traditional Medicine in Jamnagar, and whether we will be able to bring about this kind of expert dialogues there. The point here that Parulji has raised is very important, because we understand from the perspective of Guna of the Desha and all these little details that is in our textbooks. What Parulji is saying is we want those things to be preserved also and respected.
Yes.
And are we forceful enough to raise these in country-to-country discussions, saying when somebody says, there might be, Parulji is right in saying there are some formulations, Asomarichtums, as we mentioned earlier, there may be some bacteria, microbes there that are actually beneficial.
Yes.
From what I can hear, what you're saying is we will factor these things also. That it won't be, we will not dismiss what is there in Shastra and the Samhitas. We will respect that, and we will try and convey to our partner countries that this is how it is, and also provide some scientific evidence for it if it is something. I think this is what is coming through. Parulji,
exactly.
We are very grateful. Parulji is here with us.
Sirji, Madan sir, if we take paracetamol as paracetamol, why can't they take haldi as haldi? Those who can't tolerate haldi may not take haldi. They can take amba haldi or other alternatives. Those who are allergic to paracetamol don't take paracetamol. Those who are allergic to certain antibiotics, they don't take those antibiotics. Can't we create this awareness? It's a request, sir, because my one student said that this traditional global center may destroy Ayurveda. He was very that Ayurveda is not a traditional system. It's a whole science. And all this bringing in westernization and without understanding all this happening may destroy the real Ayurveda, the real ethos of Ayurveda. That is what even my students who are dealing with 34 countries, they are saying. Certain students are dealing with 18 countries, some 24, some 34, like that. These students are giving that feedback that this is going to destroy Ayurveda. So I'm just speaking on their behalf, Sirji.
Parulji, you can see from Naveen Gargji's presentation that when these rules were framed and announced, they even took to Delhi High Court saying that we don't want these kind of regulations. But I think what Sharmindaji is saying is, let us keep this dialogue going. I think this is what Pavanji is saying. Let us keep this dialogue going. And senior people, Parulji, like yourself, we need to be, for you to be the critical voices here. You have to be critical here and don't let the agenda be hijacked somewhere. So we will make sure that by raising these comments.
Sir, may I intervene for a moment? Sorry for interrupting you.
Arunji, please.
सर इतने आयुर्वेदा के एक्सपर्ट बैठे हुए हैं कि मैं कुछ बोलूँगा आयुर्वेद के बारे में तो सूरज को चिराग दिखाने के बराबर है, but still I would like to say few things which Paul ma'am has raised. Actually में क्या चीज हो रहा है सर? Why Ayurveda is lagging behind in India? Well, let me give you one example. If there is a clinical trial of any Ayurvedic product, the parameters which are chosen are totally based on modern medicines. Actually, what we should do is, जैसे आपने रस वो गुण और धर्म की बात किया, the clinical trial should be based on वात पित्त and कफ. आप किस कंडीशन को ट्रीट करने जा रहे हैं, आपकी डिसीज कम्स अंडर which category, और आपके क्लिनिकल ट्रायल के पैरामीटर्स वो होने चाहिए, बिकॉज द साइंस से सो. आयुर्वेदा इज अ साइंस बेस्ड ऑन गुण धर्म एज वेल एज द दोष. तो अकॉर्डिंगली हमें जो है ना अपने पैरामीटर्स वो बनाने चाहिए कि हमारा क्लिनिकल ट्रायल क्या होना चाहिए. व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज वी आर प्रोड्यूसिंग, इवन आई एम आल्सो अ मैन्युफैक्चरर, व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज वी आर ट्राइंग टू प्रोवाइड अ ब्लैंकेट प्रोडक्ट फॉर एनीथिंग. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल मेरी कंपनी बनाएगी एक constipation के लिए कि we have come out with a product for constipation, but actually we have three kinds of constipation. Vata constipation is different, Pitta constipation is different, and Kapha constipation is different. The symptoms are different. So what we should do is the licensing authority should totally comply with the Ayurvedic principles, and only on those principles the license should be granted. This issue was raised by me in 2019 when National Advisor Dr. Manoj Nesaji was here in Kanpur. We had, organized Ayush, there was a trade fair over here, and for that reason he was here. हमने उनसे ये रेज किया कि इस तरीके से लाइसेंसिंग का प्रोसेस होना चाहिए कि जो हमारा लाइसेंसिंग प्रोसेस है वो ही गलत है. दैट पैटर्न इज टोटली ऑन मॉडर्न मेडिसिन. हम आयुर्वेद के प्रिंसिपल्स पे लाइसेंसेस ही नहीं दे रहे हैं. हाउ डू वी एक्सपेक्ट द मैन्युफैक्चरर टू प्रोपगेट देयर प्रोडक्ट्स? वो प्रोडक्ट प्रोपगेट तो उसी हिसाब से करेंगे जो करंट साइंस चल रही है.
अरुण जी हमारे साथ है जी आज नवीन जी गुप्ता जी है लंदन से जुड़ रहा. नवीन जी नमस्कार. नवीन जी से जी थोड़ा.
नमस्कार सर. नमस्कार.
35 साल की एक्सपीरियंस है यहाँ और दिल्ली के रहने वाले हैं. दिल्ली में तिबिया कॉलेज में पढ़े थे. नवीन जी नमस्कार जी.
नमस्कार सर. नमस्कार.
आप वेद भी है.
I don't know how to start today and how to comment on the.
ये अरुण जी ने जो बात उठाया कि
अरुण जी तो बिल्कुल ही 100% सत्य बोल रहे हैं. उसको बस को फ्रेम करने की जरूरत है कि वो पैरामीटर्स जैसे भी इन्होंने भी वात और पित्त और कफ के रूप में इन्होंने विबंध के बारे में कहा, कॉन्स्टिपेशन के बारे में, तो आयुर्वेद में थोड़ा सा और इलेबोरेट कर देते हैं चीजों को. मुझे नहीं पता सर आप आयुर्वेद के डॉक्टर हैं कि नहीं है, मुझे नहीं पता.
फिजिक्स का.
हाँ, क्योंकि इन्होंने अपने आप को मैन्युफैक्चरर के रूप में वो बताया था, इसलिए मैंने पता. क्योंकि आयुर्वेद में मृदु कोष्ठ, मध्यम कोष्ठ और क्रूर कोष्ठ है. तो हमें कोष्ठ की सबसे पहले कोष्ठ को परिभाषित करते हुए और उसके सब एक उसके डायग्नोसिस को परिभाषित करते हुए 10वीं परीक्षा से एक प्रिसाइज डायग्नोसिस पे पहुंचना है, जिसको हम बिल्कुल निदान जिसको कहेंगे. और इसमें सारे जो हमने उस निदान पे पहुंचने के लिए हमने सारे पैरामीटर्स जो आयुर्वेद के हैं 3वीं परीक्षा से लेकर 10वीं परीक्षा तक हमने सारे पैरामीटर्स को ले लिया. उस निदान के बाद हम एक औषधि की कल्पना कर सकते हैं और उस औषधि की कल्पना के साथ साथ हम उसके रेफरेंसेस जो हैं, यह भेषज रत्नावली से लिया है, मान लीजिए चरक संहिता से लिया है, उसके रेफरेंसेस देके और उन रेफरेंसेस में भी आचार्य ने क्या कहा है और कैसे कहा है और हमने कैसे इंटरप्रिटेट किया है उसको इलेबोरेट करते हुए तो तब जाके एक पैरामीटर बनेगा हमारा एक विबंध के बारे में. तो विबंध क्या चीज है और विबंध की स्टेजेस क्या क्या हैं और किस किस लेवल पे है. तो अगर हमने विबंध की बात कर ली तो हमने पूरी जीआईटी की बात कर ली. हमने मुख गुहा से लेके गुदा पर्यंत बात कर ली. हमें मतलब ये इनको बताना है कि कॉन्स्टिपेशन एक ऐसी चीज नहीं है कि जैसे आपने यहाँ पे एलोपैथिक में या मॉडर्न मेडिसिन में आपने कह दिया कि हैबिचुअल कॉन्स्टिपेशन है या वेरी बैड कॉन्स्टिपेशन है, तो आपने कुछ जैसे डिवाइड किया और आपने डल्कोलेक्स टाइप की कोई ड्रग दे दी, तो ऐसा नहीं है ना. और उसके बारे में फिर हमको ये डिफाइन भी करना पड़ेगा कि हमारे विरेचन में जो द्रव्य इस्तेमाल हो रहे हैं वो भी इसी पैरामीटर पे हैं, पर वो क्यों इस्तेमाल हो रहे हैं, वो क्या कंसेप्ट है हमारे पास, संशोधन कंसेप्ट जो हमारे पास है. तो हमें सारे कंसेप्ट को इलेबोरेट करके एक डिजीज बेस्ड या एक हमें कहीं ना कहीं से तो शुरू करना पड़ेगा. इट इज ए चिकन एंड एग स्टोरी. वी कैनॉट जस्ट से दैट वी विल स्टार्ट विद विबंधा, but because nobody will know what is Vibandha, because we have to accept it that English is becoming an international language and everybody has to convey in the international language. So first we have to translate that term into the near terminology, and we can explore and explain that terminology also about a disease. Then only, and I totally agree with him. I totally agree with him.
ये जो नवीन जी, sorry to interrupt, ये जो बात आपने उठाया कि इकोस्ट के बारे में, जहाँ साहब भी was discussing this. We will come to जहाँ साहब just on this one point थोड़ा सा. इसकी कैसे थोड़ा वो expert system बनानी है जी इसमें. अगर what we are saying is we have to make an expert system. I just want to take one word quickly in response from शर्मिंदर जी. नमस्कार जी. आपसे सुने जी, आप भी आयुर्वेद के हो. You understand this terminology, but you also see the pressure key. If we want to globalize these things, which we must make a compromise. Compromise it's a bad word because that's not how it is Ayurveda. You cannot compromise in Ayurveda.
We have to redefine. We have to redefine. We have to revisit.
Sharminder ji, आपसे सुने जी, वो उसमें is there the tension is not resolving जी. जो पारुल जी ने जो बताया, जो tension और जो नवीन जी जो कह रहा है कि कोष्ठ के बारे में या डायबिटीज इनके पास है कुछ एल्गोरिदम, वो it is not coming together जी, इसके बारे में थोड़ा बताना जी, because you are
Sir,
also...
it is always tough when you're expected to leave your roots and change your destination. It is always tough. But when we talk about modernizing the things, you know, putting it on a more science, I'm not saying Ayurveda is not science. I am just conveying the fact that what the world demands right now is putting it into a terminology which is accepted worldwide, which is globally accepted. If I present it as Vat Pitta Kapha, then I need to initiate what Vata is, what Pitta is, what Kapha is to my counterpart also, which can easily be done and is being done also. Even while I was a student, while we were being taught, we were always being taught on a parallel system of studies so that even we could understand what is happening inside the body. So it is not getting detached. Nowhere ever is, we are getting detached from our roots. It is basically watering more of our roots and giving it a global platform.
Sharminder ji, you are very political in your language. एक सवाल आया जी. Please tell us, where did you do your BAMS studies?
I did it from Tibia College, Delhi.
अच्छा,
That is
1990. Naveen ji, आप थे तिबिया
I
में?
would like to add some point in this direction.
हाँ जी, please.
Sir, I agree with the statement of Dr. Naveen Gupta ji and
Parul ji.
and Dr. Srivastava ji.
हाँ जी.
First of all, we have to do whether we are doing the standardization of drug or the clinical trial of any drugs. First, we have to perform the classical parameter. First, we have to do the classical parameters. Then after, as per the respective country, if we want to export the drugs, if we for the global acceptance, we have to assess with the guidelines of the respective countries. Say, for example, like the standardization of Rasosdi. First one, the classical parameters, what are the Nishchand, what are the Varitar, and the Punarbhav. Even in the clinical trial of any drugs.
ये जो the Vasaushadhi thing is outside the context of Ayush Mark. So इसमें थोड़ा और हो जाएगा जी. It's even more confusing. So if we keep it to just the Ayush Mark wali product or Ayush Premium wali product, uske just keep it to that one.
My main point is first we have to do on the classical parameters, then after the modern parameters.
I think everybody is agreeing to this one. I think we have question, raise hand from Hanji, please. Anushri, please.
Yeah, so एक बस point add करना चाहूंगी जो पारुल मैम ने बोला था कि मैं even US के ऐसे कई आयुर्वेदिक products में देखती हूँ जिनको वो as a fusion आयुर्वेदिक products की तरह they are promoting. So they are selling Ayurvedic health gummies like ashwagandha gummies with added vitamin D and added vitamin E. तो कहीं ना कहीं जो अश्वगंधा का जो वो एसेंस है या आयुर्वेद का जो वो एसेंस है, it is completely lost. So I absolutely agree with what Parul ma'am has raised. It is absolutely true. So Ayurveda on a global platform is becoming more of a fusion version of different medicines. So that's what I wanted to say.
Anushri, that's a very important point, particularly jo Ashwagandha ki baat jo bataya. I want to invite Kamini ji here just to share some thoughts. Kamini ji, namaskar. If Kamini ji is able to share a few thoughts. Kamini ji is joining us from All India Institute Ayurveda in Sarita Vihar. Kamini ji, pranam ji. If Kamini ji is not able to, I think I would like to invite our senior Professor Jha Saab just to share a few thoughts. Jha Saab, pranam ji. We have so many new people here. Pushpalata ji, he is here. Minali Mishra, namaskar. Jha Saab, namaskar ji, pranam. Jha Saab is Arun ji. Are you getting an idea of the challenges here?
Sir, definitely. And since I'm not into formal education of Ayurveda. Informally, yes, I've gone through so many tests. And
Arundeep,
as
I have a, sorry to interrupt again, just to keep the flow and the momentum going. I have a request here. Kanpur is not very far from Varanasi.
Oh, yes.
Why don't we have more of these discussions in BHU? Senior people are there. Pandeyji joins us frequently. Why don't we come together as a group to discuss these key points so that our young students also get engaged in this? Because it takes a little time. Like, look at Sharmindaji, the mastery of that specialized area, you know. Sharmindaji, we are very keen to know, questions are coming saying, how did you come into such a specialized area? You did BAMS in Tibia College. And then how did you do this transition from all of that you studied, Charaka Samhita, et cetera, all the way to global standards? Ye kaise, how did you do this transformation? So this is, we need more young students to join this, because we are not going to make this happen in 1 decade or 2 decades. It will be a long process. You know, you will be retired by the time, and our struggle will still be going on. So we need more young people to join. And I think that's the question. What do you have guidance for our young people? How to start going from?
I believe Ayurveda is a extremely vast field now, an extremely vast field. And it is very good if our newcomers, you know, they just do not constrain themselves with the basic theories of Ayurveda, but try to inculcate in, you know, as much as, I mean, how more can we spread our wings? Ayurveda has so much, you know, in itself. It is such a precious gem that every sentence has to be translated and understood. While through the, you know, during my college days, while we were studying, probably every child that passes out tends to believe that he or she would become an extremely good clinical practitioner and would run a very good OPD. I probably had a more inclination to the industrial field and did my graduation and directly jumped into industries. And post then I was, you know, opened up to the area of, you know, pharmacokinetics, management of pharmaceutical drugs, drug laws, and that is how the interest started. So Ayurveda, I mean, for the kids, the coming kids, you know, Ayurveda is just not clinical. There are so many number of fields that you can go into, you can plunge into yourself. Almost 22 years of experience into this industry, sir, now, and have worked with number of big concerns.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
This is a very strong message for all our young viewers.
Madanji, the way she's speaking, I'm very, very happy. And very, very, I mean, when I graduated, at that time, there was no possibility like that. And secondly, I want to tell you that you'll be feeling jealous from us that in few years, we'll bring Ayurveda genome biology.
Naveenji, I'm always jealous.
Ayurveda genome biology in Delhi University, and we'll compete with Dr. Madan Thengavalu from Cambridge University. And we'll challenge you one day.
Naveenji,
you will not be able to govern us like this now. So one day will come, one of our student, one of our practitioner like Chaminda Kaur, she'll be sitting and she'll be challenging you. What you are doing in Cambridge University, what we are doing in Delhi University, we do much better than you.
Bilkul ji, bilkul. Naveenji, I must confess, I feel very proud to have 2 people from Tibia College here today. Naveenji is here, or Chaminda ji.
Very, very happy today. Very happy to join.
I humbly accept.
To know Naveen Garg also. Although he sometimes and very funny things he told in the between, he has to use the word venture. He had to use the word venture, and he used 2 times adventure. So maybe he has to little bit hallmark and hallmark. So we have to little bit come to the international marks.
We will. I just college को मत ले जाइए क्रेडिट में नवीन जी.
जी क्या करें?
अकेले तिबिया कॉलेज कोई नहीं ले जाइए क्रेडिट में.
अजी तिबिया कॉलेज का मतलब आप तो एग्जामिनर रहे हो वहाँ पे?
और भी आशियाने हैं,
तो आप तो एग्जामिनर हो
और
कॉलेज
भी
में।
आशियाने हैं।
Now, I want to take this, Navinji, thank you. I just want to take this forward, Sharminderji. This point you have raised is very important because we want young people to see that Ayurveda has much, much more within it. And within that, there is an opportunity for so many specializations. And as we globalize, as more and more people come and join the activity, on Sunday, we have an ongoing weekly meeting in Toronto on 75 traditional Ayurvedic formulations. So they're called, we are using the word TAM, traditional Ayurvedic medicines.
Yes.
And we have been talking about Asavams, Arishtam. Our first one started with Trifala Churna. And our next one that is scheduled for this coming Sunday will be on Kanchanargupal. And then the following day, following week, we're going to talk about Brahmivati. But the point here is what I want to connect this with what Parul ma'am is saying. Parul madam is saying, don't dissociate from the traditional aspects. Bring the standards into the traditional things. If it is Asavam, it is Arishtam, yes, it can be standardized, but don't strip it away from the spirit of the purity of Ayurveda. I think this is Parul ma'am's comment here.
Yes, exactly, sir.
True.
Parulji,
And
I
I
hope
abide by it. Yes.
and that should be maintained.
Parul ma'am made a very, it was a very genuine demand, but we have to find a solution. Like Chaminderji would say, somebody was talking about guest and host, and you were emphasizing on we have to follow the host, or vice versa, I don't know. But we have to follow, in fact, both guest and host both, because when I immigrated to Europe, not to UK, in the Europe first. So then people were saying to me, should I adapt to the European environment? But I did that. And then what happened? People were starting visiting to me in European country, which was Belgium at that time, and they adapted to this. So after some years, I found a solution that a guest and host both have to adapt to each other. And the same fusion we have to find out in Ayurvedic medicine and the modern medicine parameter. And Parulji was saying to us one time, I think I heard it and I wanted to make comment on that time, but I respect the way the flow is going on. So she was saying that they are asking the product. No, madam, you have to understand, you are sitting in India. Sometimes they are not asking. We are asking them to adapt to Ayurveda. They are not asking. They sometimes can be so arrogant to us. They can say simply, oh, sit at your own home. We have our own health system. We don't want you. So so it's not that they are asking for Ayurveda medicine.
I can't understand if China can stick to its Pati. Japan can stick to its Pati.
Then we have to go to the story to Modi ji and this Chinese Prime Minister Chang Chung. So basically, China is something else. To bring
If
China,
they can stick, why can't we?
China is, that China is much ahead in many things, madam. That TCM was.
We can try following their steps.
Actually, TCM.
Why are we lagging behind?
You have to understand two things. TCM and Ayurveda. Ayurveda lags behind TCM. If you understand what is the export value of TCM products and Ayurveda, it is even not 5% to that. So TCM is a recognized practice system here. It's a political game. But you are correct. We have to fight this politically, and there must be some political decision for that. And it is not.
No, that's not needed. It's not needed. We need not bring politics here. When PM sir was CM here and at Jamnagar, he took a lecture. He said, there is a Chinese herb. They can sell in $2,000. Why can't we sell our herbs in 2,000?
That's what politics is. That's what politics is.
No, it's not politics. We don't know how to market our products, and that is our lacuna. There is no politics here.
No,
why can't we
it's
market
not about that.
in our own name?
Don't understand the things are so simple. TCM is a recognized system of medicine here. They recognize it as medicine, and the practitioner are called TCM medicine practitioner. While we are not Ayurvedic medicine practitioners, I can say myself Ayurveda Vaidya. I can say myself I cannot say Ayurveda medicine. Ayurveda medicine world as such is not allowed in many European countries.
Thank you. Naveenji, we will, this is a difficult one, but it
Yes.
will resolve as we continue our discussion in future webinars. Pavanji will bring us all together again, and this issue will be clearer and it will get resolved. I want to invite Sharminderji. I don't know how you are for time. I can see if you have time, please stay with us, because we have Professor C.P. Sharmaji joining us from Bhopal, our senior, another senior
All right.
mentor. Sharmaji, Pranamji. If Sharmaji is not there, I just want to hear a few words from Jahasab, but I think Jahasab might have left that. If Jahasab is not here with us, I invite Kaminiji from All India Institute of Ayurveda. Kaminiji, namaskar ji. Kaminiji, pranam.
नमस्कार.
हाँ, प्रणाम जी. Thank you. Kamini ji, आपकी तरफ से थोड़ा some feedback on today's discussion, the very important area of the next step for Ayurveda. You know, yesterday, Kamini ji was with us. Yesterday, she presented on many things, and we talked particularly about women's health and many areas where she's managing some things. And we talked about possibility of a collaboration with Johns Hopkins on some aspects of on precancerous areas that we touched on. Kaminiji, these all involve standardization, products, etc., etc. आपकी तरफ से थोड़ा सा सुने जी.
Sir, actually, I am doing, we can say that treatment of the patients. Always I am concerned to the quality of the product. That is, I think, should be main concern when anyone is preparing the medicine. I will give example that I had a patient, she was a scientist. She is a scientist and she came to me for her treatment. And I advised her one medicine. So she told that I will not take from here. I will buy from market and this and this. Okay, no issue. She bought that same medicine and she told that I am having severe constipation with this medicine and this and this. Only one medicine I prescribed her. So I told, okay, no issue. You stop that and you take from our hospital. And when she took that same medicine from our hospital, she messaged me that I am having severe loose motions since morning, 20-30 times I have gone. Same medicine in same dosage of different companies are giving different result. And that is shocking for us if we are doing treatment of the patient. So always I think that that should be a quality product if anyone is preparing and selling in the market. That is the thing only.
Kaminiji, this is a very important point you have raised. I think we are so fortunate that so many qualified people are here, from Charminderji, Naveenji, Sharma. I want to invite Sharmaji from Bhopal. Sharmaji, namaskar. Pranamji. If Professor Sharma is not able to join, then I can see so many new people have joined us. Sarita Sharmaji, namaskar. And we have Mahesh Sharmaji. If our speakers would like to, Saritaji, namaskar. And Jahasab is here, but we would like to hear something from Jahasab about this standardization, because we've been discussing at length in many meetings about the need for standards, particularly in that rasa preparations, and which the rasa clinicians like Jahasab and his students use with great confidence, but it is a very technically challenging area. I don't know if there is somebody who would like to add. Maheshji Sharmaji, namaskar.
नमस्कार सर.
नमस्कार जी. महेश जी प्रणाम. कहाँ से जो
राजस्थान से.
अच्छा जी, नमस्कार जी.
नमस्कार जी. मेरा यही कहना है कि आयुर्वेदिक मेडिसिन का स्टैंडर्ड आयुर्वेदिक में चर्चा होना चाहिए.
अच्छा,
आयुर्वेदिक का मेडिसिन का स्टैंडर्ड आयुर्वेद के मेडिसिन से होना चाहिए। जैसे रसौषधियों का डॉक्टर साहब ने बताया था, संजीव जी ने, पुनर्भव होनी चाहिए, रेखापूर्ण होना चाहिए, वही स्टैंडर्ड होना चाहिए उनका।
बिल्कुल जी, that is accepted जी कि standards must be there. Now this is where we are discussing. एक तो है the gradual improvement in manufacturing process. उसमें gradual improvement in the raw material that is used and incremental improvements without disconnecting from the tattvas and the shastras. I hope this is where we are going, and we don't have a choice. We have to go that way, and it will be a slow process.
मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ, जैसा
manufacturing process according to Shastra.
बिल्कुल जी.
Then quality control according to Shastra. Standard according to Shastra.
बिल्कुल जी. I think we are respecting that. हमारे साथ है जैसा प्रणाम जी.
सर मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल साफ आ रहा है
जी.
प्रणाम जी.
तो आयुर्वेद का अपना सिद्धांत है और इस सिद्धांत का अतिक्रमण अगर हम करेंगे तो आयुर्वेद के साथ न्याय नहीं होगा, सीधी सी बात। और यहाँ व्यक्तिम वीक्ष्य, क्या मेन टू मेन और पर्सन टू पर्सन, देन प्रकृतितः विकृतितः। अब जैसे उदाहरण आया एक ही कॉन्स्टिपेशन के लिए जो ड्रग दिया गया, तो पता चला कि भाई वो हमने विचार नहीं किया कि वो वातिक है या पैथिक है या कफज कॉन्स्टिपेशन है, विबंध है, और हमने ड्रग दिया। तो निश्चित रूप से वो 3 पेशेंट हैं, 3 दोषों से प्रभावित हैं, उन पर 3 तरह का एक्शन होगा। किसी को लैक्सेशन होगा, किसी को लैक्सेशन नहीं होगा, और किसी को कुछ आधा अधूरा सा होगा। तो सवाल ये है कि वहां जब हम सेलेक्ट कर रहे हैं पेशेंट और सेलेक्ट कर रहे हैं द्रव्य मेडिसिन, तो आयुर्वेद के सिद्धांत को ध्यान में रख करके चलना पड़ेगा, और फिर जब हम देंगे तभी उससे जो कुछ भी उसका एक्शन है वो मिलेगा। दूसरा कि जो बातें हो रही हैं, अल्टीमेटली जो कुछ है वो पेशेंट और फिजिशियन, दवा फिजिशियन प्रिस्क्राइब करता है और सामने जो भी बीमार व्यक्ति है वो मेडिसिन लेता है। 2 चीजें उसमें महत्वपूर्ण है, पहला सेफ्टी और दूसरा इफिकेसी। दोनों में से अगर कोई भी लैक करता है तो वो एक तरह से स्वीकार्य नहीं होगा। और इसके अतिरिक्त ये आज जो क्रम है, जो हमारा रसशास्त्र भैषज कल्पना, तो कल्पनाएं हमारी थी वो अपने एक नियम कायदे पर डेवलप की गई थी, चाहे वो पंचविध कषाय कल्पना था या उस पर आधारित जितने भी बटीक, अवलेह, आसव, अरिष्ट या भस्म आदि जो भी सारी कल्पनाएं, वो सब के सब एक निश्चित सिद्धांत पर और निश्चित नियम कायदे पर आधारित थी। आज उस बैरियर को हम पार करके आगे चले गए हैं। हमारे फॉर्मुलेशंस जो हैं वो कैप्सूल में बंद होकर के आ रहा है, ब्लिस्टर पैकिंग क्या कहते हैं टैबलेट्स के रूप में आ रहा है, और नाम भी जो हमारे क्लासिकल नाम थे उस नाम की जगह पर आज हम देख रहे हैं कि भाई डाबर अश्वगंधा को स्ट्रेस कॉम के नाम से बेच रही है, तो क्या कहते हैं हिपेटोप्रोटेक्टिव जो भी है उसको ली 52 के नाम से हिमालय बेच रही है। तो नाम भी कुछ इस तरह के हो गए हैं कि वो आयुर्वेद जैसा लगता नहीं है। तो अब पता नहीं यह जो इस तरह का प्रयोग है, ठीक है, इंटरनेशनल कम्युनिटी को सेटिस्फाई करने के लिए ये निश्चित रूप से आवश्यक है। अगर हम भारत की सीमा से बाहर जाना चाहते हैं तो ठीक है, उसमें जो सारी बातें आई सामने कि सामने के देश को पहले सेटिस्फाई करना, उसकी जो रिक्वायरमेंट है उसको अगर हम फुलफिल नहीं करेंगे तो वो हमारी चीज को नहीं लेगा। दूसरा, एक जैसे प्रीमियम क्वालिटी आपने कह दिया कि WHO के द्वारा जो स्वीकृत है, तो ठीक है कि WHO के द्वारा स्वीकृत है और उस आधार पर अगर कोई देश एक्सेप्ट करता है तो ठीक है, और नहीं तो लेकिन अब सवाल ये है कि हम अपने को कितना बैंड करेंगे, कितना ट्विस्ट करेंगे एज ए आयुर्वेदिक मैन। तो अब सवाल ये है कि जैसे हमारे जो टेक्निकल टर्म्स हैं, हम कहते हैं कि शोधन, हम अगर रसशास्त्र में कहते हैं तो शोधन का एप्रोप्रिएट कोई भी अंग्रेजी टर्म हमें कोई बता दे कि व्हाट विल बी दी टर्म, एप्रोप्रिएट टर्म फॉर शोधन, तो पता चलेगा कि बहुत मुश्किल है। कैन बी से प्यूरिफिकेशन, कैन नॉट। हम देख रहे हैं कि जो हाई प्यूरिटी का मटेरियल, रॉ मटेरियल हमारा है, चाहे मरकरी हो, गोल्ड हो, प्यूरिफिकेशन के बाद उसकी प्यूरिटी परसेंटेज घट जा रही है। हाउ वी कैन से इट प्यूरिफिकेशन? तो हमारे जो टेक्निकल टर्म्स हैं, इट शुड बी, मतलब इसको छेड़छाड़ करने की कहीं से आवश्यकता नहीं है, बिल्कुल छेड़छाड़ करने की आवश्यकता। बात है तो बात, कफ है तो कफ, पित्त है तो पित्त, शोधन है तो शोधन, मारन है तो मारन, जो भी रोग के नाम है, कामला है तो कामला, पांडु है तो पांडु, हम ठीक है खोजते हैं नियर बाय, उससे मिलता जुलता, उसके बिल्कुल करीब का, लेकिन हमारे टर्म हमारे होने चाहिए। और जब वो हमारी देश की सीमा से, जैसे हमारे ड्रग बाहर जा रहे हैं, ये हमारे जो टेक्निकल टर्म है, ये भी जब बाहर जाएगा तो हमें लगता है कि आयुर्वेद के साथ जो न्याय होना चाहिए वो न्याय होगा। और सीधी सी बात है कि भाई आयुर्वेद को आयुर्वेद की तरह से हम अगर लेके चलेंगे तो ही आयुर्वेद। अदरवाइज मैं बताऊं कि जामनगर में SPA कोर्स शुरू हुआ 1957 में। वहां पे जब ये स्टार्ट हुआ तो वहाँ इस एजुकेशन के साथ एक रिसर्च सेक्शन शुरू हुआ। लोगों के सामने उस समय समस्या थी, उसमें मुकुंदीलाल द्विवेदी हुआ करते थे, रामरक्ष पाठक जैसे आदमी हुआ करते थे, बड़े बड़े सब उस समय के स्टालवर्ड्स जो आयुर्वेद के, ब्रह्मदत्त शर्मा और क्या गोखले जी और सी द्वारकानाथ, इस तरह के लोग सब थे वहां पर। तो वहां जब रिसर्च की बात आई तो समस्या ये लोगों के सामने कि हाउ टू रिसर्च, कैसे रिसर्च किया जाए। और पर्टिकुलरली आयुर्वेद की जो चीजें हैं, आयुर्वेद के जो सिद्धांत हैं, आयुर्वेद के जो द्रव्य हैं, इनकी औषधियां हैं और इनके द्वारा जो बताए रोग हैं, उन पर कौन सा पैरामीटर अप्लाई किया जाए, ये सारी समस्या उन लोगों के सामने थी। और हम सभी जानते हैं कि जो अलग अलग सारे स्कूल्स हैं, चाहे वो जामनगर स्कूल हो, BHU स्कूल हो या जयपुर स्कूल हो, हर स्कूल का अपना एक ट्रेडिशन रहा है, अपना एक इन्वायरमेंट रहा है काम करने का, और एक टेम्पर रहा है। यहाँ जैसे बनारस हिंदू यूनिवर्सिटी की बात करें तो हम सभी जानते हैं कि प्रोफेसर KN उडुप्पा वाज द फाउंडर ऑफ दिस इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मेडिकल साइंस, बनारस हिंदू यूनिवर्सिटी। और इनके द्वारा जो एस्टेब्लिश जो तरीके रिसर्च के उस समय बताए गए यहाँ के स्कॉलर्स को, BHU स्कूल उसको फॉलो कर रही है। और वो जो पैटर्न, वो जो तरीका है, जो पैरामीटर्स यूज हो रहे हैं, वो सब हम जान रहे हैं कि वही फाइटोकेमिकल्स क्या है हमारे प्लांट मटेरियल में और उसका क्या एक्शन होगा। फिर जो भी पैरामीटर्स मॉडर्न है, चाहे मॉडर्न फिजियोलॉजिकल पैरामीटर्स हो या बायोलॉजिकल या बायोकेमिकल पैरामीटर हो, या फिर इसके अलावा जो कुछ भी टूल्स एंड टेक्निक्स, ये सारे के सारे, चाहे फिंगरप्रिंटिंग हो या TLC हो या SPTLC, जो कुछ भी, ये सारे के सारे बिल्कुल। अब सवाल ये है कि हम इन टूल्स के ऊपर अपने सिद्धांतों को प्रूव करने में समर्थ हैं क्या? तो बिल्कुल नहीं समर्थ हैं, बिल्कुल नहीं है। लेकिन वही फिर नियर बाय की बात की भाई कम से कम उसके करीब तक हम पहुंच सकें। तो ये सारी चीजें हैं। वास्तव में आयुर्वेद के सिद्धांतों पर जो हमारा चरक, मतलब ऐसा हम नहीं कह सकते कि हमारे पास तरीके नहीं है, पैरामीटर्स नहीं है। सारा पैरामीटर्स हमारे चरक में बता दिया है। विमान स्थान पूरा इसी बात के लिए है, हाउ टू रिसर्च। अब सवाल यही है कि उन चीजों को हम प्रैक्टिस में नहीं अडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं। उसका परिणाम ये हो रहा है कि आयुर्वेद में जो कुछ भी रिसर्च हो रहा है वो मॉडर्न मेडिसिन को स्ट्रेंथन कर रहा है, सीधी सी बात। और इस बात को हमें समझना चाहिए। आयुर्वेद को अगर हम बचा करके रखना, आयुर्वेद के नाम से बचा करके रखना चाहते हैं तो आयुर्वेद के सिद्धांतों पर हमें चलना पड़ेगा, और तभी जा करके आज का जो डेलिब्रेशन रहा, निश्चित रूप से ये जो ड्रग मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के व्यवसाय से जुड़ी हुई कंपनियां और क्या कहते हैं हाउसेस हैं, उनके लिए बहुत ही बेनिफिशियल ये सारा रहा, पूरी डिटेल जानकारी उनको मिली कि अगर उनको ये अगर मार्क अचीव करना है, लेना है, तो जीएमपी से लेकर के और प्रीमियम उसके क्या तरीके हैं और उसका क्या मतलब स्कोप है, तो ये सारी चीजें बड़ी डिटेल में बहुत बढ़िया इंफॉर्मेटिव था। लेकिन आयुर्वेद का जहां तक सवाल है, तो यहाँ पर एक ड्रग सभी के लिए एक जैसा एक्शन नहीं करेगा। उत्तर की वनस्पतियां, दक्षिण की वनस्पतियां साफ कह दी गई है। एक सौम्य क्या कहते हैं प्रकार का है, तो दूसरा उग्र क्या उष्ण प्रकार का है, उग्र प्रकार का। तो इन चीजों का साफ है, प्रोडक्ट पर बिल्कुल झलकता है हम कहाँ की वनस्पतियां, कहाँ का रॉ मटेरियल यूज कर रहे हैं। और बाकी सारे जो कुछ भी मापदंड हैं कि हम अगर अपने नियम कायदे जो कुछ भी हमारे क्लासिकल को क्लासिकल की तरह से, लेकिन आज जो आयुर्वेद का प्रेजेंटेशन है जिस रूप में, वो ठीक है, सीधा सा हम नकल कर रहे हैं, मॉडर्न का पूरी तरह से नकल कर रहे हैं, उसके पीछे भाग रहे हैं। और वही सारी चीजें चूंकि हमको इंटरनेशनल और भारत के बाहर के लोगों को सेटिस्फाई करना है, वहां तक हम अपनी चीजों को अपना उसको पहुंचाना है, तो स्वाभाविक है कि आपको थोड़ा सा लिबरल होना पड़ेगा। लेकिन उस लिबरल में हम अपने आयुर्वेद को नुकसान न पहुंचावे, इसका बिल्कुल ध्यान में रखें। तो इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं धन्यवाद करूंगा मदन जी का, पवन जी का। धन्यवाद मदन जी, धन्यवाद। आगे बढ़ सकते हैं।
आपका म्यूट हो गया प्रोफेसर मदन जी, आपका माइक म्यूट हो गया।
Sorry, I was saying 9:10 हो गया time, so we are already running out of time. अगर पवन जी gives us permission, we can do another 5-10 minutes. पवन जी, आपसे निवेदन 5-10 मिनट के लिए। I want to see Charminder ji, आपने you have listened to one of our senior mentors here, Jha Saab, and similar to Parul ji ki comment, can we keep the spirit alive? We want to take Ayurveda in its best way. Sharma ji jo bataya, Mahesh ji. So I think we are all agreeing, or Sanjay ji jo bataya, can we keep this as an agreement? Agreement matlab you are hearing the emotions coming from the community, that there is a tension here. Thoda sa wo tension hai, and that tension needs to be understood, and the tension needs to be resolved, thoda sa. And I think somebody like you yourself, you are in a very important position, that you understand the industry, the needs, you understand the dialogue that is going on, you understand the need for respecting this tradition. I wish a few words from you before we draw this meeting to a close. If there is somebody else who would like to add, please. But first, Charminder ji, namaskar.
Thank you so much, Madan ji. It's probably a tug of war, and I presumably, I feel that the rope between the Ayurveda and the modern aspects is what I am right now.
Exactly.
So, no, sir, nowhere during the whole policy, it was intended that Ayurveda has to bend or twist itself. We do not intend. The policy, as what I understand, as what I could translate, was made so that the product that reaches the customer, that reaches the doctor, has a good quality. To add upon what Kamini ma'am just said, her main aim is that the medicine she prescribes to her patient is of good quality. She would never ever be happy if the medicine that she's providing from A company or B company or C company with the same formulations is showing different effects. Probably that is where we come into picture. That is where we want to standardize Ayurveda. Ayurveda Vardhani cooked in, address A, baked in address B, cooked again in address C, should be the same. The process should be the same. It should be standardized. The whole process should be qualified enough that any person who makes it, A, B, or C, the end result is the same. And that is where probably Ayurveda will rise. That is where all manufacturers have to come into the picture.
Together. Charanji, you have used the correct word. You are the rope in this tug of war. You have taken the, and you are a very strong person, and I'm sure you will not give up the needs and respect the demand from both the sides. So we are very grateful you have joined us today. We're very grateful that you have shared and listened to all the sentiments that are pouring out. And this is the reason for this platform, so that we can listen to people, we can bring people together, and we can have higher value of debate going on. And I feel it is the responsibility of senior people like Jha to guide us in this process. Parulji, Jha Agnihotriji, Domaji, these are our senior minds who are constantly reminding us that once upon a time we had these kind of people who did all these wonderful things. We want that quality there, whether it is teaching, whether it is treatment, whether it is manufacturing. We want to maintain that, but also not lose sight of a global demand.
Madanji, can we expect some concluding remarks from Agnihotriji?
It's coming. Agnihotriji is coming. So last request for all our speakers. महेश जी, आपकी तरफ से अगर कुछ हो जी, आज आपने सुन लिया जहाँ साहब की तरफ से क्या है कि no compromises, कि there are some qualities, we will respect that. जो संजय जी की, गुरु जी,
आयुर्वेद को आयुर्वेद ही रहना देना चाहिए।
बहुत बढ़िया जी।
आयुर्वेद को आयुर्वेद तरह से ही पढ़ना चाहिए, आयुर्वेद तरह से चिकित्सा करनी चाहिए, आयुर्वेद की तरह से उसको मेडिसिन बनना चाहिए। आयुर्वेद को छोड़ना, अपने आज आयुर्वेद को छोड़ दिया, बेसिक जो छोड़ रहे हैं यहाँ पर।
महेश जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आज जोड़ते रहिए जी प्लीज, बिकॉज वी नीड दिस काइंड ऑफ इनपुट गाइडेंस फ्रॉम सीनियर पीपल। संजय जी, आपकी तरफ से अगर कुछ हो, आपकी गुरुजी की तरफ से आपने।
Thank you, sir. We have to lead in this direction with the principles of Ayurveda. This is the final words from my side, and I accept the words of Professor C.V. Jha sir that we cannot change the world. If it is Shodhana, we have to send the message even in the foreign country by the name of Shodhana, not for the purification.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. I'm happy that teacher student is here in the same platform. It is so wonderful जी. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. अब सीपी शर्मा जी से सुने जी। शर्मा जी नमस्कार जी, और नवीन जी से भी सुने। नवीन जी आपसे सुने जी। नवीन जी का
यस सर, नमस्कार।
नमस्कार जी।
सर, एक है मेरा सिंक्रोनाइज करने का एक पॉइंट है, क्योंकि आयुर्वेद प्रोस्पेक्टिव और मॉडर्न प्रोस्पेक्टिव, दो प्रोस्पेक्टिव्स पे कंट्रोवर्सी हो रही है, तो हम दोनों को एक साथ एक प्लेटफॉर्म पे कैसे ला सकते हैं? क्योंकि अभी हम बात करें भस्मों की, तो भस्म यदि प्रॉपर ढंग से बनी है तो उसमें, क्योंकि यदि वो रॉ मटेरियल के फॉर्म में है भस्म, यदि या लेड की भस्म है या आर्सेनिक की है या गोल्ड की भस्म है, तो वो यदि इम्प्योर फॉर्म में है, रॉ फॉर्म में है, तो वो हैजार्डियस है, और यदि प्योर भस्मा फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट हो गई है तो वो यूजफुल हो जाती है। तो यूजफुल फॉर्म और हार्मफुल फॉर्म को वैलिडेट करने के लिए मॉडर्न पैरामीटर्स का तो हेल्प लेना ही पड़ेगा, क्योंकि वैलिडेशन एक ऐसा टेक्निक है जिससे हम मॉडर्न पैरामीटर्स को यूज करते हुए आयुष प्रिंसिपल्स पे हम उसको खरा उतारें। जैसे कि हम बात करें लेड की बात करें, लेड की भस्म होती है, जैसे भंग भस्म है, तो उसका लेड जो है पूरी तरीके से बर्न हुआ कि नहीं हुआ, उसका इंसिनरेशन हुआ कि नहीं हुआ, वो हमें एक्सआरडी से ही पता लगेगा, मॉडर्न टूल से ही पता लगेगा। उसका आयुर्वेद में कोई ऐसा टूल नहीं है जो ये पता लगा सके कि वो वास्तव में, क्योंकि वैलिडेशन एक टर्मिनोलॉजी को प्रूफ करने के लिए मॉडर्न साइंस में मॉडर्न पैरामीटर को ही यूज लेना पड़ेगा, इसके अलावा कोई और चारा नहीं है।
बिल्कुल जी, थैंक यू।
मैं इसमें थोड़ा सा ऐड करूं मदन जी?
हाँ जी प्लीज।
जैसे भस्मों के लिए ये जितने भी मॉडर्न टूल्स एंड टेक्निक्स हैं, वो सारे के सारे 19वीं शताब्दी के लास्ट और अभी 20th सेंचुरी और 21st सेंचुरी। तो जैसे जैसे हम आगे बढ़ते जा रहे हैं, साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी का जैसे जैसे डेवलपमेंट होता जा रहा है, वैसे वैसे हम चीजों को एडॉप्ट करते जा रहे हैं। चाहे डायग्नोसिस के फील्ड में MRI हो और क्या अल्ट्रासाउंड हो, और मतलब जो सारे टूल्स एंड टेक्निक्स आते गए, हमने उसको अडॉप्ट करते गया। इसी तरह से भस्मों की परीक्षा के भी क्रम में, लेकिन जो भस्में मध्यकाल में खूब ज्यादा फ्रिक्वेंटली प्रचलित थी और तब से लेकर के और मतलब करीब सेंचुरीज, मतलब कई 100 साल तक वो चलता रहा, तो उसको जांचने का पैरामीटर क्या था? तो पैरामीटर वही सारे थे जो हमारे क्लासिकल पैरामीटर के रूप में है। रेखापूर्ण हो, वारितर हो, निस्यंद्र हो, अपुनर्भव हो, निरुद्ध हो। अब देखें, प्रेजेंस ऑफ फ्री मेटल इन दी भस्मा शुड नॉट बी देयर, ये हमारे आचार्य बोलते हैं। और अगर फ्री मेटल का प्रेजेंस है तो हाउ वी कैन डिटेक्ट? So we have Niruddha type so sensitive technique by which process and technique by which we can detect the presence of minute free metal in the bhasma. तो अब बता रहा हूं कि इतना सेंसिटिव आज दूसरा कोई हम ढूंढें तो बहुत मुश्किल है। हमारे यहाँ ही काम हुआ और फॉस्फोमोलिबिडिक एसिड करके एक एसिड डेवलप किया गया जिसके द्वारा किसी भी भस्म में अगर फ्री मेटल है तो बाय स्पॉट टेस्ट यू कैन नो इज इट देयर और नॉट, फ्री मेटल इज देयर और नॉट इन द पर्टिकुलर भस्म। तो ये हमारे प्रोफेसर रे साहब यहाँ हुआ करते थे और हमारे एक स्कॉलर थे डॉक्टर अरुण पाल फ्रॉम कलकत्ता, वो इनका वर्क था ओरिजिनल फॉस्फोमोलिबिडिक एसिड स्पॉट टेस्ट फॉर द भस्मास टू डिटेक्ट द प्रेजेंस ऑफ फ्री मेटल इन द भस्म। और उसको ऑलरेडी जो क्लासिकल हमारा पुराने समय से निरुद्ध परीक्षा, तो निरुद्ध परीक्षा मेंट फॉर दैट ओनली टू डिटेक्ट द प्रेजेंस ऑफ फ्री मेटल इन द भस्मा। तो ये सब थे और उसी क्या कहते हैं परीक्षा के आधार पर इन सब का खूब प्रयोग होता रहा और पूरा जो इंडियन कम्युनिटी थी वो रस औषधियां और काष्ठ औषधियां और इन सब के मिले जुले जो कुछ भी प्रोडक्ट थे उन्हीं को खा करके पूरा का पूरा जो चिकित्सा की नीड थी वो सेटिस्फाई इन्हीं सबसे होता था और होता चला आ रहा था। भाई मॉडर्न मेडिसिन की हिस्ट्री देख लें, फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर के बाद से जिस तेजी से ये बढ़ा विकास किया, वो आयुर्वेद के साथ दुर्भाग्य रहा कि सरकारी देखरेख और संरक्षण न मिलने से, सपोर्ट न मिलने से आयुर्वेद अपना पीछे की ओर पड़ा रहा। तो आज भी जो कुछ भी है वो वास्तव में आयुर्वेद में किसी बात की कमी नहीं। और आपने विगत दिनों जो सारे उदाहरण सब सुने हैं, मैडम पारुल जी ने जो सारे उदाहरण दिए हैं वो सब क्या है? भाई आयुर्वेदोपदेशेषु विधेय परमादर, ये एक आदेश किया गया कि भाई आयुर्वेद के उपदेश में आप आदर दें, आदर रखें। तो सवाल ये है कि जो चीजें कह दी गई हैं हम सीधा काट दें कि भाई ये एग्जेगरेटेड है। बहुत सारी फलश्रुतियां कही गई मेडिसिन की और एक एक मेडिसिन का आप उठा करके देख लें, चाहे वो अश्वगंधा हो, शतावरी हो या भृंगराज हो या गुगुलू हो या बदसनाब हो या भंगा हो या क्या कहते हैं अहिपेन हो, तो जितने उसके सारे इंडिकेशंस बताए गए हैं तो क्या ऐसे आंख मूंद करके किसी ने उसको लिखा या उसने अपने प्रैक्टिस में अनुभव करने के बाद लिखा? निश्चित रूप से जिस किसी ने उस पर्टिकुलर एक्शन को वहां पर लिखा है तो उसने अनुभव किया अपने प्रैक्टिस में और प्रैक्टिस में अनुभव करने के बाद उसको डॉक्यूमेंट किया। तो इसलिए उन चीजों को अगर हम नहीं पहुंच पा रहे हैं किसी भी कारण से, अपनी कमजोरी के कारण से हम उन चीजों को अगर आज अचीव नहीं कर पा रहे हैं तो हम दोष किसको देंगे? अगर हम वहां तक नहीं पहुंच पा रहे हैं तो वेयर इज द फॉल्ट, हुज फॉल्ट? तो सवाल यही है कि इन चीजों को समझने की जरूरत है और हम निष्ठापूर्वक और सही में जो स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन की बात है, ये सारी चीजें क्यों हो रही? इसलिए हो रही है कि एक रूपता हो। हम जो कुछ भी आयुर्वेद के प्रोडक्ट है, मैंने तो दो ही बात कही कि सेफ्टी और इफिकेसी, ये दोनों चीज अगर रहे, ईमानदारी के साथ सब जो भी रूल रेगुलेशंस हैं इसको फॉलो करके, और भाई आयुर्वेद तो अथभूत दयाम प्रति ऐसा कह के कहा गया, भाई जीवों के प्रति दया भाव रखते हुए आयुर्वेद का उपदेश किया गया है। तो उस भाव को ईमानदारी पूर्वक कि भाई हमें बीमार सोसाइटी की सेवा करनी है, उसको लाभ पहुंचाना है, तो जो कुछ भी हम घर में खाना बनाते हैं, रोज खाते हैं, कोई स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन की बात यहाँ आवश्यकता ही नहीं होती, इसलिए कि हम चूंकि अपने खाने के लिए उसको बना रहे हैं, अपने परिवार के पोषण के लिए बना रहे हैं। तो जब यह भाव हमारे मेडिसिन के प्रति आएगा तो निश्चित रूप से भाई हम मेडिसिन के साथ किसी तरह का अन्याय नहीं करेंगे। तो इस तरह की स्थिति जब बनेगी तो, लेकिन उसमें कुछ चीजें जो हमें विदेश जाने के लिए चाहिए तो वो तो चाहिए, नहीं तो विदेश एक्सेप्ट नहीं उसको करेगा। भारत में रहने के लिए कितनी चीजें आवश्यक है उसके लिए भी एक मापदंड जीएमपी का दे दिया गया, लेकिन सवाल ये है कि ईमानदारी से कितने लोग फॉलो कर रहे हैं। जो 75 आपने प्रीमियम ग्रेड में फार्मेसीज को बताया, उसमें से कितने फार्मेसी, वो भी बताया गया डाटा कि कितने फार्मेसी लूज कर रहे हैं उस क्या कहते हैं सर्टिफिकेशन। और तो इसका जो सवाल ये है कि हम अंदर झांक करके अगर देखने की कोशिश करेंगे तो हमें लूपहोल्स पता चलेगा कि क्या हो रहा है। सर्टिफिकेट प्राप्त करने के लिए लोगों को कितने पापड़ बेलने पड़ रहे हैं। तो इन सारी चीजों को ध्यान में रख करके आयुर्वेद को आयुर्वेद के ढंग से और आयुर्वेद के रूप में अगर हम रख करके चलेंगे तब की आयुर्वेद का मेरा तो ये मानना है। आयुर्वेद को आयुर्वेद रहने, विदेश में हम आयुर्वेद को ले जाना चाहते हैं तो आयुर्वेद के ही नाम से जाएगा, ठीक है, उसमें ए लगा दिया आपने तो आयुर्वेदा, या उसको उच्चारण आप आयुर्वेदा कर लें, एक मात्रा बढ़ा करके आयुर्वेद से आयुर्वेदा, जैसे योग को योगा कर दिया, ये ठीक है, यहाँ तक तो स्वीकार्य है। लेकिन आयुर्वेद को कोई और पैथी कह करके आप प्रोनाउंस करना शुरू करें तो इट कैन नॉट बी एक्सेप्टेड। So thank you very much.
Sir, thank you so much. बहुत धन्यवाद जी. This is as we come to the end of our discussion, थोड़ा और energy आ रहा. अरुण श्रीवास्तव जी से थोड़ा सुने. अरुण जी नमस्कार, and then we go back to Pavan जी. अरुण जी प्रणाम जी.
सर नमस्कार. सर ने जिस तरीके से बातचीत की बिल्कुल सही बात की कि आयुर्वेद को आयुर्वेद की तरह लेके चला जाए. मैं एग्जांपल देना चाहूंगा सर. मैंने इन लोगों को फॉलो किया है. डॉक्टर वसंत लाल जी बेस्ड, डॉक्टर डेविड फ्रॉले जी हैं. ठीक है, मैं आपको बताऊं, आप इनको फॉलो करेंगे.
अरुण जी एक मिनट आई थिंक जहाँ से आपका एक मिनट जी, जहाँ से आपका टेलीफोन म्यूट कर, जहाँ से आप, सॉरी जी, थोड़ा आपका टेलीफोन थोड़ा म्यूट करेंगे. जहाँ से आपका टेलीफोन, प्लीज कंटिन्यू अरुण जी.
What I have seen is these people are following classical Ayurveda, and what they have done is they are practicing in Ayurveda where bhasma and all these things are not allowed. Even Indian herbs are not found over there. So what they are doing is they have applied all the Ayurveda to whatever restricted herbs they have got, and accordingly they have found the energetics of this herb, and based on the Ayurvedic principle, these people are serving the people in the US over there, and they are highly successful. So what I am saying is, research should be done in Ayurveda.
Arunji, apologies. Yes, apologies. There is a little distraction coming from Jha Saab's telephone. Jha Saab, pranam ji. Could we, Jha Saab, aapki thoda mute kar dijiye ji, please. Jha Saab. I think Pavan ji can mute Jha Saab's telephone. Pavan ji, namaskar. Jha Saab ke telephone. Please continue, Arun ji. I think your point is appreciated. Ki
the research should be done. If we want to take Ayurveda over there, we should take Ayurveda, what Ayurveda means. That means the principle should be taken over there. And in whatever field we are there, whatever restrictions are there, we should try to apply Ayurveda within those restrictions. And the examples are there. Vasant Lad is there. Dr. Vasant Lad is there. He's very famous. And Dr. David Froland. There are so many other practitioners over there. Though Ayurveda is not recognized in US, but yes, they are practicing over there, and they're highly successful. Like for example, there is a 6-month waiting for an appointment with Dr. Vasant Lad over there. So can you imagine how successful he is there? And when I had a talk with his son,
Arunji, the point here is that what Charminder ji is saying is, let us formalize everything so that we get quality products. What Kamini ji, Dhiman ji was saying.
Sorry to intervene you, sir. Sorry to intervene you, sir. Dr. Chaminda Kaur is very much right in her aspect कि हमें आयुर्वेदा के प्रोडक्ट की क्वालिटी तो रखनी है. जब हम प्रोडक्ट की क्वालिटी को जांच रहे होते हैं, देयर आयुर्वेदिक प्रिंसिपल्स के साथ कोई छेड़छाड़ नहीं होता है सर।
शाबाश, ठीक है जी।
समझ रहे हैं सर? जब डायग्नोसिस और बाकी सारी चीजों की बात आती है वहां पे आयुर्वेदिक की बात हो सकती है, बट एज फार एज आयुष प्रीमियम और आयुष स्टैंडर्ड मार्क आर कंसिडर्ड, वो really आयुर्वेद के प्रिंसिपल्स के साथ छेड़छाड़ नहीं कर रहे हैं। उनका कहना है कि अगर आपने आंवला डाला है तो प्रोडक्ट में आंवला होना चाहिए, तो वो बेसिकली उस चीज को लेके फॉलो किया जा रहा है आयुष प्रीमियम और आयुष स्टैंडर्ड में। अदर देन दैट आयुर्वेद की प्रिंसिपल्स के साथ जहां तक मेरी समझ जाती है वहां पर कोई छेड़छाड़ नहीं हो रही है। The Ayurveda principles are not being disturbed over there.
Arun ji, there is only one request from my side. Ki aap from Kanpur, BHU is very close by. Why don't we have more interactions of this kind together with BHU and together with other organizations from nearby states, which Pavanji is already doing, but so that we get some more harmony in our thinking, so that we really understand कि पारुल जी के मन में क्या है, जहाँ साहब के मन में क्या है, और बाकी लोगों के मन में क्या है. उसको, I think only from this discussion that we arrive at that consensus, not only consensus, whether we are understanding each other's motivation and the direction of argument, you know. And those are very important points, and we will come together as a very collective and a very strong group. I feel this will be the outcome of these discussions. So thank you. Thanks to all our speakers. Arun ji, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. संजय जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
मदन जी, एक क्वेश्चन मेरा है आप सभी से.
हाँ जी.
आयुर्वेद विज्ञान है या दर्शन है?
Well,
आयुर्वेद विज्ञान है या दर्शन है?
क्योंकि अरुण जी इसमें क्या है कि you know, अगर हम यहाँ से I'm looking today आम की बात की, हम कहते हैं कि there is a concept of अग्नि, और अग्नि की तरफ है there is a आम. अब when I look at it from cell biology perspective, ठीक है ना जी, पूरा बिल्कुल नई नई टेक्निक्स जो यूज करके उस तरफ से, उस नजरिया से देखते हो. Arm cannot be changed. Arm is there, even inside one cell. But the way I connect with arm is through stereoisomers. ठीक है ना जी, chemistry की जो stereoisomeric forms is arm. And I cannot change the language of arm. I cannot change the deep concept of Agni. I cannot change it. Oh, जो नवीन ने जो बताया बात,
आयुर्वेद को फिलोसॉफी के नजरिए से देखना चाहिए, साइंस के नजर से देखना चाहिए.
It is the deepest of science.
हमारी फिलोसॉफी.
It is
no,
not.
No, Madan ji, it is philosophy. It is philosophy. दार्शनिक दृष्टि से देखना चाहिए आयुर्वेदिक को.
Yes, दार्शनिक दृष्टि से देखना चाहिए.
दोमा जी,
दर्शन वो होता है जो अतीन्द्रिय होता है.
Okay, I will tell you.
विज्ञान तो केवल इंद्रियों तक सीमित रहता है.
नहीं महेश जी,
दर्शन अतीन्द्रिय होता है.
महेश जी, हमारी जो पूरा my favorite दर्शन is सांख्य, और हमारी शुरुआत होती है अव्यक्त से. अव्यक्त is beyond the horizons of cognition, ठीक है ना जी.
आयुर्वेद भी सांख्य को मानता है.
बिल्कुल जी. So that is the way I am coming to आयुर्वेद, की सांख्य की तरफ से और अव्यक्त की तरफ से, और अव्यक्त से निकलेगा महागुण.
तत्वत अहंकारन नभो वायु अग्नि तत्व प्रत्यु उत्पादे.
So when Doma ji say it avyakt is all spirituality. Khatam. It is beyond indriyas. Avyakt is beyond indriyas.
Yes.
So when we begin with that.
Madan ji, for a while will you hear that there is no, that means letter like Purnam, that is zero. Zero is there in English literature. Does it start with zero? But ours is zero, started first and then 1, 2, 3, like that in numbers. What does it mean? Zero. Zero means Purnam. If anybody says that zero is nothing, means it is nonsensical. Zero means Purnam. That is the philosophy. That is the darshana.
No, I'm saying we are going.
Sankhya also comes under category that one only.
We are going to nirguna. Khatam. Nirguna.
Yes, nirguna. Nirguna means it is all. Only after nirguna when it has emerged with the influence of three gunas.
त्रिगुणातीत, अव्यक्त त्रिगुणातीत.
Yes, perfectly. It is Trigunatit.
Yes.
Because there was no influence of Trigunas. But it does not mean that Trigunas were not surviving. They were subdued. It was subdued stage.
I think we are agreeing on everything, that whether it is a science or a philosophy, it is beyond gunas. So there is no science nor philosophy there in nirguna state.
Why don't you take that Einstein's statement, where science ends, the philosophy starts?
Well,
Is it not the statement of Einstein?
I feel more comfortable sitting in avyakt. I feel more comfortable sitting in nirguna. And from there, I can begin my whole analysis. So there is no philosophy, there is no religion in nirguna. There is no spirituality, whatever it is, nirguna. So we start from there, and I feel most comfortable there. So if you can access, if your mind can access nirguna state, you have infinite knowledge there. All possibilities are there. Wahan se kaise utha ke laaye ki
perfectly.
So that is a different skill. From nirguna is everything. You can go to, if you can go to nirguna and come back with whatever knowledge you want, then this is the scale at which we operate. And this is the beauty of this knowledge. And I think we accept that it has a science dimension, it has a spiritual dimension, because it starts in avyakt, in nirguna state. Khatam.
Should I give you one sutram? Should I give you one sutram? Trigunatmika Srishti Matrika Ashesha Trikona Dhara. It is the sutram given in Anand Sutram by Anandamurti Ji. Trigunatmika Srishti Matrika Ashesha Trikona Dhara.
Thank you, Damaji. You are always here to guide us in such a wonderful way, and we are grateful for this. We are very, very happy you have highlighted this one point there. Before I return the floor to Pavanji, you look at this, we are almost 9:35. We have had an absolutely informative discussion. We want to once again thank all the speakers. And final word from CP Sharmaji. Sharmaji, Namaskar from Bhopal. If Sharmaji can listen, we'll like to have a few words. Otherwise, I return the floor to Pavanji. Pavanji, Namaskar. If Pavanji is not available for us, I pass the floor to Agnihotriji. Agnihotriji, Namaskar. Once again, thanks to all our, Namaskar-ji, thanks to all our.
Thank you, Madanji. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you.
Namaskar.
Thank you, Madanji.
Namaskar, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Professor.
Apologies for the delay, but we had such a wonderful discussion here.
Thank you.
And many, many points are coming out, which will be the body of future discussions. Thank you, Ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madanji. Thank you. Thank you.
Sometimes I think that whether we will keep on discussing on these lines or will reach to some point as a result with a special reference to the subject and taken under the webinar. What I feel that after the very much clarification made by Professor C.V. Jha sir, there remains nothing to say. There remains nothing to say. And one point raised by probably Dr. Naveen ji, the other one, that what may be the criteria of testing Yashad Bhasm ya Gold Bhasm. We have to seek towards the modern medicine's parameter. This is not the fact. Before the inception of modern medicine, the Bhasmas were prepared, and whether they are purified or ready to use, the criteria was already mentioned in the same text. So need not to be get confused. Whether the modern medicine persons are making such type of ashes, but I felt that the discussion reached to so high temperature that before that, as Professor Madanji declared that in London today it is 41, so he removed his attire of coat. That's why he was ready enough So let us see what will be the hottest situation after this whole webinar. I was observing for last couple of months that today once only that attire of coat is been removed, it confirms that really it is hot there in London. One also important thing, a day before yesterday, Madam Parul Joshi was telling that her guide, her MD PhD guide, was not ready to accept that gold bhasma if it is not having that shining of gold. Though the text says that it should be nishtandikrat. So she already pointed that out. So there are so many pros and cons and so many merits and demerits are always there. My first appeal is that those guest speakers of today, which are directly or indirectly connected to the manufacturing, pharmacy or firms like Vaidyanath or so, could have come with their presentation with the 2 minutes, some videos, because this is a time of audiovisual. So videos, then we would have much appreciated that when she was telling that the quality is also checked at the level of level manufacturing, at the level of the packing manufacturing. That would have gone a good message that used to present by Dabar fellow and other fellows, ML or Himalaya fellow, when they start doing some CME, they used to show a 10 or 20 minutes documentary that how they are collecting the raw material and how they are purifying it and then using it and taking it at the final stage. So it itself conveys a lot of matter that how it is to be licensed in a proper manner. And moreover, as the discussion was running, that the quality should be maintained. The quality should be maintained. Decades have gone with these statements. The fact is this, it should also be defined what is the quality. As Madam told that the Tirfala acted as constipative action. On other hand, the Sarkari government Tirfala acted in a axis motions. So what is this? If we talk about the Purusham Viksha, then again, before the using of any of the Tirfala preparation, the Prakriti should also be assessed of the user at the same time, to be taken that it is a Samvag Tirfala or Dugun Tirfala or so. So there are so many deep-rooted hidden principles of practice apart from the quality medicine prepared by any of the factory, pharmacy or other thing. So this is a small inter-between discussion. And as far as the renewal of license is concerned, I just made a small sentence in chat box that as we are aware, for seeking the intactness of our vegetables and fruits on daily basis, our pulses, our flour, our suji, maida, everything on weekly basis, and especially we are careful to go through thoroughly checking of these eatables, especially during rainy season. If it will get rot, naturally we have to discard it. These are the eatables. So goes the case with the medicines. Medicines prepared and the license is given for 5 years, then persons may be reluctant. They may be observing the same quality control, or maybe let's now we have to get it renewed after 5 years. Let us have some in-between trade. So if it is a restricted time of 3 years, okay, because this is also a policy matter. Policymakers might be having some ideas in their mind that when it should be renewed. Driving license is also say renewed by 5 years after a certain age. In starting, it is for 20 years. So policy matters can be taken as a government support. So we should follow it. But when it is a matter of medicine, it has got great value to be observed. And these protocols must be observed by each of the every manufacturers. So our thanks first of all to Professor Guruji, Professor C.V. Jha sir, Professor B.P. Sharma sir, Professor Madan Thangalwala sir, Vaidya Jayesh Thakkar ji, Miss Preeti Banerjee ji, Dr. Abhay Varman ji, Dr. Ajay Kumar ji, Dr. Anand Prakash Pandey ji, Mr. Anwar ji, and then Dr. J.R. JPR Arora ji, Dr. Doma Jagdishwar ji, our Dr. Mahesh Sharma ji, Dr. Wasim Ahmed ji, Dr. Nitish Kumar Pandey ji, Dr. Maflar Anthoria ji, Dr. Parul Joshi ji, Madam Dr. Samir Bagga ji, then Dr. Shyam Kumar Mishra ji, Dr. Savaika ji, Dr. Kamini Diwan ma'am, Dr. Narendra Dutt Tiwari ji, Dr. Vishnupriya Das ma'am, or Dr. Anushri ji, Dr. Ali Javed ji, Dr. Naveen Gupta ji from London, Dr. Dhiren Minali ji, Dr. Kaustubh ji, and again a few more, Dr. C.P. Sharma sir, Dr. Arun Sharma ji, and Dr. Naveen Gupta ji. Along with our guest speakers, the one is Dr. Arun Shivastavi, Dr. Sanjay Kumar Agrawal ji, and Dr. Naveen Kaur Garg ji, along with Dr. Jarinder Kaur ji. Every our guest speaker talked in details, in volumes, regarding the all pros and cons and all the modalities of the drug manufacturing and its getting licensed for the greater cause of the suffering humanity, so that there should not be any compromise in quality control. The idea was this, that if GMP is to be observed, most of the hidden questions will overruled, simply because we are little bit reluctant or compromising that okay, अभी तो 2 किलो बनाया है, इसमें क्या GMP कराना, चल जाएगा, निकल जाएगा, मरीज से पैसे खड़े हो जाएंगे, हमारा कॉस्ट तो निकल ही आएगा. पाचन चूर्ण, हिंगवस्टक चूर्ण, छोटे छोटे त्रिफला चूर्ण, ये सब अपना कर सकते हैं. लेकिन जैसे एक चीज अभी मैडम ने बताई थी कि डॉक्टर कौर ने बताई थी, इससे आरोग्य वर्धनी होती. अब आप ये बताइए, आज की तारीख में हम ये कहने की हिम्मत कर लेते हैं कि आरोग्य वर्धनी बटी शुड बी 1. अगर ऐसा कुछ था तो हमारे विद्वान निश्चित रूप से हमसे अधिक विद्वान थे, मूर्ख नहीं थे, जो आरोग्य वर्धनी 1, 2, 3 और 4 हम ऑप्शन क्यों रखते हैं. हमारे पास एयरटेल का भी है, आइडिया का है, जियो का है. कोई एक का फेल्योर है, एक के इंग्रेडिएंट कुछ कमी है, तो हम दूसरे से काम चला लें. ऐसे ही हमारी जो बीमारियां सब है 1, 2, 3 और 4 वो इसीलिए करते थे कि एक तो पेशेंट के हिसाब से किसके लिए कौन सूट करेगा. हमारे पास फलत्रिकादि है, उसके अलग 2 रोगाधिकार हो गए, एक प्रमेय रोगाधिकार हो गया, एक प्लिया रोगाधिकार, कामला रोगाधिकार हो गया. तो ऐसी बहुत चीजें जिनमें हम एक तो फिर बहुत बड़ा क्वेश्चन हो जाएगा. 1980s में एक हमारे यहाँ चल वैजयंती थी, एक रनिंग ट्रॉफी थी प्रोफेसर उड़पा साहब के नाम से, डज आयुर्वेद नीड्स मॉडिफिकेशन. तो मॉडिफिकेशन को फिर मैं डिफाइन किया था डिक्शनरी हॉर्नबी से, स्पेशली व्हाट इज मॉडिफिकेशन. मॉडिफिकेशन मीन सब्ट्रैक्शन, एडिशन, डिलीट करना. अब चरक में ही लोग पीछे पड़े रहते हैं कि बीमार स्थान में भी आहार की बात हो रही है, मंत्राशिति अध्याय 5वें अध्याय में आहार की बात हो रही है. तो इस तरीके से अगर स्केटर्ड है या दूसरे प्रतिसंस्कर्ताओं ने इसमें सामान डाला है, मटेरियल डाला है, तो सबने उसकी उपयोगिता देखी होगी. और उस सबकी उपयोगिता तो हमारे आचार्य बागवती जी ने कर ली, जिन्होंने अष्टांग संग्रह और अष्टांग हृदय लिख के इन दोनों पूर्ववर्ती ग्रंथों का लाभ ले लिया. और उसके बाद हमारी जो लघु लघुत्रयी है, उन्होंने उसको और लाभ ले लिया, वो ज्यादा पॉपुलर हो गई. तो कहने मतलब ये कि हमारे ग्रंथ जो हैं, अगर वो सही एडिशन में मिल जाते, जैसे कि चरक चक्रपाणी टीका वाली, तो उसमें हमें ये इफ एंड बट लगाने आवश्यकता नहीं पड़ेगी. हमें खुद समझना पड़ेगा संस्कृताचार्य की सहायता से. और जहाँ पर रस शास्त्र, रस निर्माण या औषध निर्माण की चर्चा होती है, वहां पर चाहे वैशेष रत्नावली हो, रसतर्गणी हो, रसरत्न समुच्चय हो, रसेंद्र सार संग्रह हो, और जितने सारे हमारे रस शास्त्र, रस की प्रिपरेशन बनाने के हमारे निर्माण ग्रंथ हैं, उनकी गहराई में जाके वर्तमान के क्रम में भावना द्रव्यों की उपयोगिता, उपलब्धता के अनुसार हम औषध बना सकते हैं. इसमें ये नहीं कि हम फॉरेन वाले कहेंगे तो ही मानेंगे. जैसे हम कहते थे कि अभ्रक मारक गण का पूरा एक चार्ट है, तो जब हम अभ्रक बना रहे हैं तो कसौंदी क्वाथ की भावना दी, और उसके बाद फिर उसको गजपुट में रखा और गजपुट में फूंका. अगर कसौंदी का असमर्थ नहीं मिल रहा है तो मैं उसके लिए वैकल्पिक द्रव्य चाहिए ही चाहिए होंगे. इसलिए अभी बहुत कठिन और बड़ा अर्ली काम हो जाएगा कि हम ग्रंथों में कुछ रिडक्शन शुरू करें. रही बात टीएमसी वर्सेस आयुर्वेद, तो टीएमसी डिकेड्स हो गए हैं जब चाइना ने अपनी नेशनल पैथी डिक्लेयर कर रखा है. तो वहां पर उनकी माने रूलिंग पार्टी और अपोजिशन दोनों का पूरा सपोर्ट है, पॉपुलेशन पूरा सपोर्ट है. और उसकी बदौलत वहाँ की वो नेशनल पैथी हो गई, और वी इंडियंस एंड अदर कंट्री फेलो वहाँ जाते हैं, टीएमसी ट्रेनिंग लेते हैं और ठाट से प्रैक्टिस करते हैं और कन्विंस होते हैं, भले ही वो चाइनीज सीखते हो, लैंग्वेज या ना सीखते हो। हमारे अपने आयुर्वेद में ही हम लोग 140 करोड़ के लोग में भी अभी आयुर्वेद चाहिए, इसमें कम से कम 100 करोड़ लोग अलग हो जाएंगे, 40 करोड़ भी लोग आपको सपोर्ट कर दे तो बहुत बड़ी बात है। तो ऐसी स्थिति में फेवरेबल गवर्नमेंट के नाते या गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसीज के नाते अगर आए तो थोड़ा भी उत्थान मिल रहा है तो हम अपनी मौलिकता न छोड़ें। जो WHO में हमारा 180 कंट्रीज के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव के तौर पर जामनगर में सेंटर आ रहा है, हम जो कुछ कर पाए हैं वो बताएं, और नहीं कर पाए हैं तो बताएं हमारे वातपित्त कफ में, हमारी प्रकृति के क्रम में ये ऐसा ही होता है, इसकी टर्मिनोलॉजी यही है, आप इसको इसी भाषा में समझिए, तब हम इसकी जो गुणवत्ता है वो आपको सिखाने के लिए समर्थवान हैं। आपकी भाषा में परिवर्तन करके, आपके नैनो पार्टिकल में बतला के, आपके RNA DNA में बताएंगे तो शायद हम अपने मौलिक तत्व से ही भटक सकते हैं। औषधियां तो वही रहेंगी, लेकिन हम उनको कन्विंस करने के चक्कर में हम अपने मरीजों जो और अच्छी सेवा कर सकते हैं तो नहीं करेंगे। तो आज के विद्वान वक्ताओं ने, जो कि समस्त आयुर्वेद के ही ग्रेजुएट्स हैं और आयुर्वेद की औषधि निर्माण के में अपना बहुत बड़ा योगदान दे रहे हैं, करोड़ों करोड़ रुपए की फैक्ट्रीज में काम कर रहे हैं, अपना बौद्धिक भी दे रहे हैं, एकेडमिक भी दे रहे हैं, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एक्सपीरियंस भी शेयर किया है, तो उन सबको बहुत बहुत बधाई। इस विश्वास के साथ में, जैसे नवीन जी जो माने कलकत्ता में है, सॉरी यूके में है और यूरोपियन कंट्रीज में उनका अच्छा होल्ड है, तो उनके लिए बहुत जरूरी हो जाता है कि हम इस तरीके से कोशिश करें, उनको इंडियन सपोर्ट देते रहें, उनकी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को उस सीमा तक पहुंचाएं जब वर्ल्ड के दूसरे कंट्रीज भी आयुर्वेदिक प्रिपरेशंस को आयुर्वेदिक मेडिसिन के रूप में स्वीकार करें, और उसके द्वारा हमारे आयुर्वेद का भी उत्थान हो, आयुर्वेद प्रेमियों का भी जो है मन अच्छा बना रहे, और ये लाइसेंसिंग बनाना चाहिए तो हमारे इंडिया में अप्लाई हो रही है। इसके लिए तो वो इंडिया के प्लेटफॉर्म में संघर्ष करना पड़ेगा, या उसमें जो भी कुछ मॉडिफिकेशन है वो डालने पड़ेंगे। तो आज के समस्त गेस्ट स्पीकर्स को बार बार बधाई, उनको बहुत बहुत बधाई, उनके ज्ञान देने के लिए उनकी सराहना, और आज के प्लेटफॉर्म को जिन लोगों ने पहुंचाया, करीब आज भी 36-34 हो गए थे, तो अच्छा रहा। हमारी ये कोशिश होनी चाहिए कि अगर हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट आखिर में 10 बजते हैं संख्या में, 30 से 35 से लेके, तो उस समय तक हम कोशिश करें कि हम कंक्लूडिंग ले लें, क्योंकि मोस्ट ऑफ दी हमारे जो डिस्टिंग्विश्ड गेस्ट होते हैं उनके थॉट तो आ ही चुके होते हैं, तो शायद ये वाइटलिटी बनी रहेगी। और ये मन में रखना है कि हमारा जितना डिस्कशन होता है उसमें हम अल्टीमेटली पहुंचते कहाँ पर, या हमारा रियल ओरिएंटेड आउटपुट भी होना चाहिए। आप सब विद्वानों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, स्वागत। ओवर टू प्रोफेसर मदन अंगवेल जी। नमस्कार।
थैंक यू अग्निहोत्री जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। I think this is very valuable discussion, Agnihotri ji, कि we have touched some very
मदन जी एक बात और बोलूं क्या?
बिल्कुल जी, बिल्कुल।
आयुर्वेद को आयुर्वेदिक मेडिसिन नहीं बोल के आयुर्वेदिक औषध बोलना चाहिए।
बिल्कुल जी,
क्योंकि औषध, जैसे अमेरिका मना करता है आयुर्वेदिक मेडिसिन लेने के लिए,
वही है, औषधि है।
नहीं, औषध फल पाकांता, तो उसमें गेहूं और चावल भी औषध में ही आते हैं।
बिल्कुल जी,
आयुर्वेद की डेफिनेशन में गेहूं और चावल भी औषध की श्रेणी में आते हैं।
च्यवनप्राश औषधि है, च्यवनप्राश जो है कोई मेडिसिन नहीं है।
हाँ, औषधि तो उनको बोले मेडिसिन नहीं, औषधि है ये।
वो तो शब्द हमने जो कहा उसका भाव आपने समझा है, उसमें कोई फर्क नहीं है। कम से इंडियन में तो
उनको समझाना पड़ेगा, मेडिसिन नहीं औषध है।
बिल्कुल जी, बिल्कुल। यहाँ पे जी ये देखो, हमारी वी आर मिसिंग आवर सिद्धा वाले, ये देखो जी किताब, दिस इज सिद्धा वालों की तरफ से आहार, फूड इज मेडिसिन, फूड इज मेडिसिन। तो हमारी we are clear कि food can be used as a medicine. That soch is completely clear in our mind, you know. मगर people here are confused कि क्या कह रहे हैं लोग। What is
अपने को समझाना चाहिए उनको, ये अपनी ड्यूटी बनती है।
At this point आपने जो बताया कि if we use the word औषधि, then there is more opportunity to expand कि बताएं क्या चीज है औषधि का। शायद शर्मा जी है हमारे साथ। शर्मा जी प्रणाम जी, सॉरी वी मिस्ड यू, भोपाल से शर्मा जी है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद महेश जी।
जी सर,
प्रणाम जी।
जी सर प्रणाम सर।
आप यू आर वेरी बिजी, शायद आप बिजी रहे शर्मा जी।
सर ये बिजी तो क्या है, प्रोफेशन ही ऐसा है जिसमें जहाँ प्रैक्टिस करना होती है ना, तो पेशेंट हमारा भगवान होता है, हमें उसको कई बार ऐसी व्यवस्था देनी होती है कि हॉस्पिटलाइज भी करना है तो जाना पड़ता है, पेशेंट कहता है चलिए सर आप। तो आज का डिस्कशन सर मदन जी बहुत ही सार्थक और उपयोगी और व्यवहारिक रहा। जहां तक जो आंशिक मैं जुड़ा, उस आंशिक जुड़ाव में जो मैंने पाया उसमें जो हमारा भारत सरकार का जो सोच है कि ड्रग स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन, अच्छी औषधियों का निर्माण, जैसे अभी भस्म के बारे में जो चर्चा हो रही थी उसमें हमारे यहाँ क्लियर लिखा हुआ है, बारीतर निश्चल रेखा पूरित, उंगलियों में जो हमारी इंप्रेशंस उसमें आ जाती है, जिसमें कोई भी वो नहीं रहता है बड़ा पार्टिकल, फाइनेस्ट पार्टिकल, वो निश्चित निश्चित प्रभावी होती है। और जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग की व्यवस्था है उसको मैं तो ये सोचता हूं कि शासन को अपने हाथ में लेना चाहिए। जो व्यवसायी हैं वो व्यवसायी जो कंप्रोमाइज करते हैं ड्रग मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में, वो हमारी आयुर्वेद के लिए बहुत अच्छा संदेश नहीं होता। तो जहां गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, गवर्नमेंट, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स के माध्यम से, चाहे वो हम जैसे हमारे सीवी झा साहब हैं, ऐसे हमारे रसशास्त्री और द्रव्य गुण के ज्ञाता जो वास्तव में उस ड्रग का, जो भी ड्रग है उस ड्रग के बारे में उसको फिजिकली उन्होंने देखा है और कहाँ का ड्रग, किस जगह का कौन सा ड्रग, औषधीय पौधा ज्यादा प्रभावकारी है अकॉर्डिंग टू रस गुण वीर्य विपाक प्रभाव। इन सबको ध्यान रखते हुए और क्षेत्रीय जोनल पूरा सर्वे होना चाहिए इंडिया का। उस जोनल सर्वे में जो रेंजर्स हों वो आयुर्वेद के रहें, जो हमारी ड्रग्स का कहाँ कौन सा ड्रग उपलब्ध है और कौन सा ड्रग ज्यादा प्रभावकारी है, अर्थात वीर्यवान है, उसका एक्टिव प्रिंसिपल या उसके जो एल्कलॉइड हैं वो परफेक्शन में है। इस तरह का हम लोगों को एक प्रयास करना चाहिए। जैसे कासमर्द की बात आई, काकमाची की बात आई, या जो भी भावना द्रव्य है, इन भावना द्रव्यों का भी उस भस्म के निर्माण में बहुत अहम रोल होता है, मेन। इसलिए हमें ये मालूम होना चाहिए कि यदि हम उसमें बासा डाल रहे हैं तो वो बासा एडेटोडावासी का, या हमें अर्क स्वरस की भावना देना है, या हमें मकोई स्वरस की भावना देना है, तुलसी पत्र स्वरस की भावना देना है, तो हमारी उसका संस्कार और मर्दनम गुण वर्धनम, तो कहीं ना कहीं वो हमारा जो एक्टिव एल्कलॉइड है वो उस मर्दन से हैविंग मोर एंड मोर माइक्रो पेनिट्रेशन। तो ड्रग का जो पर्पज है, जिस प्रयोजन से हम वो ड्रग निर्मित कर रहे हैं, उस ड्रग, अच्छा, ये जो बाहर के लोग या जो व्यवसायी लोग जिसका निर्माण करते हैं वो इसमें माल प्रैक्टिस करते हैं। निश्चित कई बार हमने देखा है, हमारे यहाँ अभी गवर्नमेंट में पुनर्वास सप्लाई हुआ तो हमें वो पूरा फेंकवाना पड़ा। क्यों? क्योंकि हमने जब टेस्ट किया तो उसके 5 आशा वरिष्ठ उसने सप्लाई किए कंपनी ने, और पांचों उसके पास जो बना था वही उसने लेबल लगा के पैक करके सप्लाई कर दिया। तो ये उनका मॉरल भी है, उनकी ड्यूटी भी है जो मैन्युफैक्चरर है कि भाई हम इतना पैसा कमाते हैं, उसमें हम माल प्रैक्टिस नहीं करें। उससे हमारा आयुर्वेद और हमारा वैद्य और हमारी औषधि, ये 3 बदनाम होते हैं। तीनों का जो यूनिवर्सल डिक्लेरेशन है वो डिक्लेरेशन नहीं प्रॉपर हो पाता। तो मेरा तो यही सोच है कि जो हमारे अच्छे, ऐसे अभी चरक टीका के ऊपर बात आ रही, तो गंगाधर राज टीका, चक्रपाणी की टीका, या जो भी टीका हैं, उन टीकाओं में अब आज के अनुसार, ठीक है, मॉडर्न को हमें थोड़ा सा वो करना होगा। जब मेरे को ये करना है कि क्रिएटिनिन मेरे को कम करना है, मेरे को नेफ्रोटिक जो एक्यूट नेफ्राइटिस है, चाहे वो मैं गोक्षुरादि क्वाथ के द्वारा ठीक करूं तो मुझे तृण पंचमूल के माध्यम से ठीक करूं, मुझे को उसका जस्टिफिकेशन देना होगा। उस जस्टिफिकेशन में फिर मुझे ये सिद्ध करना होगा कि इन तृण पंचमूल में जो पांचों द्रव्य हैं, ये द्रव्य मैंने यहां से कलेक्ट किए, ये ज्यादा प्रभावी है। या मेरा गोक्षुर है, अब उन्होंने कहा साहब ये तो गोक्षुर, छोटा गोक्षुर है, बड़ा गोक्षुर है, नहीं, हमारा जो जिसमें जो हमारे नया ड्रग वो आया है ना, DTL ड्रग टेस्टिंग लेबोरेटरीज, जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का कंसेप्ट है, जो शासन डेवलप करना चाह रहा था, तो हमारी DTLs का दायित्व बढ़ जाता है, वो हमारे ड्रग्स का परफेक्ट एनालाइज करें, उसको हमें जब सप्लाई से पहले एक बार उसकी जांच करना है, प्लस जो मार्केट बना, जो हमारा बैच बना, जो औषधि बनी, उस औषधि का भी प्रत्येक बैच का पूरा एक उसका एक्टिव प्रिंसिपल, सितोप्लादी हम बनाते हैं, 4 बार बनाते हैं, चारों बार हमारा सितोप्लादी अलग अलग काम करने की स्थिति में रहता है। वही फार्मेसी डाबर, वही फार्मेसी प्रवेक, वही फार्मेसी कोई भी रहे, परंतु उसका सितोप्लादी क्यों अलग अलग वो बन जाता है? तो यहाँ हमको हमारा मॉरल ड्यूटी है कि हमारे रसशास्त्री क्या होता है, हमारे यहाँ जो उसमें एक ड्रग एनालाइजर होता है, हर फार्मेसी का जब लाइसेंस रिलीज होता है, उस लाइसेंस के रिलीज होने 2 लोग BMS, तो हमें वो BMS की जगह MD रसशास्त्र, MD द्रव्य गुण वालों को महत्व देना चाहिए, जो हमारे परफेक्ट उस ड्रग का सही हमने विदारी कंद मिलाया है, हमने वाराही कंद मिलाया है, हमने शुंठी मिलाई है, तो ये शुंठी मिलाई है, वो शुंठी हमारी है। तो ये सब थोड़ी मेरी जो सोच जहां तक बनती है ड्रग मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में, ड्रग स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन में, हमें हमारे छात्र को भी निश्चित सर्विस मिलेगी, वो भी अच्छा, परंतु हम जब उस व्यवसाय उसके पास पहुंच जाते हैं, चाहे वैद्यनाथ के पास पहुंच जाए, चाहे हम डाबर के पास पहुंच जाए, हमारा BMS MD, फिर वो उसके गुणगान करने लगता है कि नहीं, वहां हमें माल प्रैक्टिस नहीं होने देना चाहिए, परफेक्ट 10 मूल है तो 10 मूला रेस्ट ही हो। तो ऐसे ही हमारी भस्मों की है, आप भस्मों के बारे में 1-1 किलो भस्म ले आओ, अलीगढ़ में बन जाती है, तो क्या हमारी वो भस्म बनाते होंगे, क्या वो BMS है, क्या वो BMS के ऑब्जर्वेशन में रहते हैं? तो आप सब जितने भी निर्माता है अलीगढ़ से, विजयगढ़ से, यहाँ से भस्म लाते हैं, तो हमारा दायित्व बन जाता है, हमारे शासन का दायित्व बनता है कि उन भस्मों का स्टैंडर्ड कैसा है, किस लेवल का है, उसका असर किसके पास आता है? जब पेशेंट कहता है कि सर आपने जो दवाई दी मेरा किडनी फेल हो गया, मेरे को ये परेशानी हो गई, मेरे को फलानी टॉक्सिसिटी हो गई, तो वहां कष्ट क्या होता है कि मैंने तो भाई आरोग्यवर्धनी दी, उसमें ताम्र भस्म है और ताम्र भस्म प्रॉपर नहीं बनी, मैंने नागार्जुनाभिर रस दिया, हृदय के लिए दिया, मैंने सहस्रकोटि अब्रक भस्म दी, तो निश्चित उसको काम करना चाहिए, परंतु वो तो 100 फुटी भी नहीं निकली, वो तो 10 फुटी भी नहीं निकली। तो ये हमारा और मैन्युफैक्चरर का और शासन का ऑब्जर्विंग पावर किसके पास है? हमारा संभागीय अधिकारी है, हमारे पास जिला आयुर्वेद अधिकारी है, हमारे पास शासन है, हमारा जो डायरेक्टर है। हम इसमें एक ही बात रही, जो हमने तो मोदी जी को लिख दिया है कि हमारे जो डायरेक्टर हैं वो IAS बैठा दिए, इतिहास भूगोल का आदमी आयुर्वेद की व्यवस्थाएं कर रहा है, तो हमें हमारा ही टेक्निकल आदमी, हमारा प्रिंसिपल होना चाहिए, हमारा सीनियर म्यूजिशियन होना चाहिए, उसमें आयुर्वेद का ही टेक्निकल व्यक्ति जो वस्तुतः है एक्सपर्ट हो उस विद्या का, वही हमारा सुप्रीम पोस्ट पर बैठे। और उसमें भारत सरकार में ये हो गया है, शासन कर रहा है भारत सरकार ने, तो प्रदेश सरकारों को भी ऐसे ही अच्छे विशेषज्ञों को लाना चाहिए और हमें एडवाइजरी बोर्ड बनाना चाहिए। CB झा साहब जैसे जो भी हमारे संहिता सिद्धांत के व्यक्ति है, बेसिक प्रिंसिपल्स के हैं, जो हमारे क्लिनिकल टीचर्स हैं, जिन्होंने अच्छी प्रैक्टिस की है, उनको उस कमेटियों में रखना चाहिए। उन्होंने देखा है आरोग्यवर्धनी की जो बात आ रही, ऐसी कुमारी आसब भी वर्ष 1, 2, 3 बनते हैं, पर नहीं, कहाँ हमें लिवर के लिए काम कराना है उससे, या हमें आम का पाचन, या हमें अग्नि मानने में काम कराना है, उसको गृहिणी रोग में देना है, कहाँ, तो वहां के हिसाब से नहीं, जो हमारा कुमारी आसव है, उस कुमारी आसव की पूरी प्रॉपर्टी पूरे के पूरे उसमें इंग्रेडिएंट होना चाहिए, वो काम करे। तो हमें हमारे दायित्व भी बढ़ जाता है कि हम लोग भी ईमानदारी से अपने पूरे समर्पण के साथ आयुर्वेदमयी मानसिकता के साथ आयुर्वेद के विकास की वैश्विक परिप्रेक्ष्य में कल्पना करें। उसमें आप सब लोगों का हमें सहयोग चाहिए, राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर और वैश्विक स्तर पर हम लोग एक अच्छा आयुर्वेद तैयार करें, आयुर्वेद प्रस्तुत करें। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। थैंक यू। वी मिस्ड यू शुरुआत में, जो वी वर लुकिंग फॉर यू, शायद आप बिजी थे। अग्निहोत्री जी, वेरी क्लियर मैसेज फ्रॉम ऑल द सीनियर पीपल। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद जी। अब झा साहब की एक शब्द यूज करके हम समाप्त करें इसकी, ईमानदारी करके। झा साहब की, महेश जी क्यों एक ही शब्द,
यदि हास्ति तदन्यत्र यन्ने हास्ति न तत्क्वचित्। जो आयुर्वेद में है वो सब जगह, जो कहीं नहीं वो आयुर्वेद में भी नहीं है।
हरिओम, शुभ रात्रि।
जो कहीं नहीं है वो भी आयुर्वेद में है।
यदि हास्ति तदन्यत्र यन्ने हास्ति न तत्क्वचित्।
कहीं नहीं वाले लोग आयुर्वेद से ले लें, आयुर्वेद में सब कुछ है।
आयुर्वेद संपूर्ण ज्ञान है।
यस सर, जीवन जीने की कला है सर।
और फिलॉसफी है, जो भी कोई कहते हैं फिलॉसफी है या दर्शन है, तो वो जो जितने भी लोगोस है, बायोलॉजी से लेकर अर्थ, वो सभी तो ज्ञान है, वही साइंस है। और वही आप कोट कर रहे थे ना कि जहाँ से
दर्शन अग्निहोत्री जी, दर्शन आंख बंद करके किया जाता है और विज्ञान आंख खोल के देखी जाती है, और दर्शन तो आंख बंद करके दर्शन किया जाता है। अपन भगवान का दर्शन करते हैं आंख बंद करके करते हैं। तो आयुर्वेद दर्शन है,
आंख बंद हो जाती है।
तो आयुर्वेद दर्शन है, आयुर्वेद विज्ञान नहीं है, मैं तो ये मानता हूँ।
अल्बर्ट आइंस्टाइन को जो कोट कर रहे थे कि वेयर द साइंस एंड्स, फिलॉसफी नहीं है, वेयर द साइंस एंड्स स्पिरिचुअलिटी कम्स।
यस,
उन्होंने स्पिरिचुअलिटी शब्द कहा था।
जहाँ विज्ञान खत्म होता है, दर्शन प्रारंभ होता है।
बिल्कुल
सर, एक बात, वैज्ञानिक होने के साथ साथ कलाकार भी होता है। उस विज्ञान के सिद्धांतों का कलात्मक एप्लीकेशन, क्लिनिकल एप्लीकेशन।
आप फिर समझते आगे कलाकार कौन होता है?
कलाकार वो होता है जो अपने ज्ञान की सम्यक प्रस्तुति दे पाए।
नहीं,
कलाम
कलाकार
थी, कलाकार है।
जो कला को आकार देता है उसको कलाकार कहते हैं। A person who practices the ability into action is known as कलाकार। जो कला को आकार दे वो कलाकार कहलाता है।
आयुर्वेद का कलाकार अप्लाइड चिकित्सक
बैठे तो है सामने, आयुर्वेद कलाकार
चलो जी, पवन जी धन्यवाद। And Pavan ji is controlling. Agnihotri ji, Shubhratri ji. शर्मा साहब,
सर नमो नमः, सभी को शुभ रात्रि।
आज तो
ज्यादा बोल गया हूँ तो माफ करना सर।
नहीं, आज तो
ज्यादा बोल गया।
आज तो गर्मी लंदन तक है, आप बोल सकते हैं।
आज दिल्ली में 40 पहुंच गया है टेम्परेचर।
यहाँ 29 है, यहाँ बारिश है 29 है आज।
यहाँ नहीं बरस रहा सर, यहाँ बारिश भोपाल में तो बहुत हो रही। ग्वालियर में हूँ इस समय में, ग्वालियर में बिल्कुल बारिश नहीं है।
हमारे यहाँ कल से छुटपुट हो रही है, दिन में 1-2 बार हो जाती है।
कमाल है जी, 40 पहुंच गया आज। देखो, नेवर इन द हिस्ट्री ऑफ यूके 40 डिग्री। बहुत है। चलो जी,
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
प्रणाम सर, प्रणाम सर, नमस्कार।
संजय जी नमस्कार, प्रणाम जी, प्रणाम। दोमा जी गुड नाइट।
मदन जी नमस्कार, गुड नाइट।
नमस्कार।
नमस्कार सर।